Hello guys, welcome to Scion What If. So in this video, we will see what if Goku was born with Omni King powers. If you enjoy these kinds of stories, don't forget to show us some love by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Your support means the world to us. Now, let's start the story. Chapter 1, Awakening. Grandpa Gohan ducked as a tree flew over his head and crashed into the mountainside behind him. Goku! Control your breathing like I taught you, he shouted, cupping his hands around his mouth. 50 yards away, a small boy with wild black hair stood in the clearing, his tiny fists clenched at his sides. The air around him rippled and distorted like heat waves off summer asphalt. Small rocks levitated around him, spinning faster and faster. I can't, Grandpa. Goku cried, his voice cracking. I'm trying, but it feels like my insides are all buzzy. The old martial artist cautiously approached his grandson, hands out in a calming gesture. Remember what we practiced. In through your nose, hold it, then out through your mouth. Focus on my voice. Goku squeezed his eyes shut, his little chest expanding as he inhaled deeply. The floating rocks slowed their rotation. The distortion in the air lessened slightly. That's it, Gohan encouraged, now close enough to place a weathered hand on the boy's shoulder. Keep breathing. Picture all that energy flowing down into your feet, into the ground. Goku's eyes shot open, they glowed with a brilliant white-blue light. It's not working. The ground beneath them cracked in a perfect circle. Gohan barely had time to jump back before a pulse of energy blasted outward from the boy, carving a 6-foot crater into the forest floor and sending the old man tumbling backward. When the dust settled, Goku stood at the center of the depression, tears streaming down his face. The glow in his eyes faded, returning to their normal black. I'm sorry, Grandpa. I didn't mean to. Gohan brushed himself off, wincing at a new bruise forming on his elbow. It's all right, boy. You're getting better. He smiled, but concern lingered behind his eyes. In the 4 years since he'd found the strange child in the woods, these episodes had only grown stronger. Goku ran to his grandfather and threw his arms around the old man's legs. I don't want to hurt you. And that's exactly why you won't, Gohan said, ruffling the boy's unruly hair. Your heart is pure, Goku. That's more important than control. The boy looked up, his expression brightening. Can we have dinner now? I'm starving. Gohan laughed. You're always starving. Race you home? Goku was already sprinting down the forest path, his earlier distress forgotten. Gohan watched him go, marveling at how quickly the boy's mood could shift. One moment unleashing power that defied explanation, the next behaving like any normal 5-year-old. Normal. Gohan sighed. There was nothing normal about Son Goku. 3 years later, Goku perched on a massive branch overlooking the valley, a fishing rod gripped in his small hands. The morning sun warmed his back as he hummed a tune Grandpa had taught him. Just a little closer, he whispered, watching a shadow move beneath the river's surface. The fish, easily the size of Goku himself, glided directly under his position. He tossed the rod aside and dove headfirst into the water with a whoop of excitement. The cold mountain river enveloped him as he wrapped his arms around the startled fish. Gotcha. His voice bubbled underwater as he grappled with his catch. The fish thrashed violently, dragging Goku downstream. Any ordinary child would have been overpowered, but Goku's grip was unbreakable. He pulled against the current, his feet finding purchase on the riverbed. You're gonna taste amazing. Goku laughed, water streaming from his wild hair as he lifted the massive fish above his head and waded toward shore. Climbing the path back to their small house, Goku's keen ears caught the sound of Grandpa Gohan's rhythmic breathing. The old man was practicing his morning kata in the clearing behind. They're home. Grandpa. Look what I caught. Goku called, rounding the corner with his prize. Gohan paused mid-movement, his weathered face breaking into a smile. Impressive. That'll feed us for days. Nah, probably just today. Goku dropped the fish and patted his stomach. I'm extra hungry from swimming. Gohan chuckled, resuming his flowing movements. You're always extra hungry, my boy. Goku watched his grandfather with admiration. Though the old man moved slowly, there was grace and power in every gesture. Grandpa had explained that martial arts wasn't just about fighting, it was about harmony between body and spirit. Can I train with you today? Goku asked, bouncing on his toes. Gohan finished his sequence before responding. Of course. But first, we need to prepare that fish. Fetch some firewood, would you? Goku sprinted toward the forest edge, eager to complete his chore. Rather than gathering fallen branches, he approached a medium-sized tree, wrapped his arms around its trunk, and pulled. The roots tore free from the soil with a series of loud cracks. Goku! Gohan's voice rang out sharply. What have I told you about uprooting entire trees? The boy froze, the tree held effortlessly above his head. Only do it if we need lots of wood for winter. And is it winter? No, Grandpa. Goku carefully set the tree down, looking sheepish. But this is faster. Gohan sighed, approaching his grandson. Just because something is easier doesn't make it right. Nature deserves our respect. I respect nature. Goku protested. I say thank you to the fish and everything. Respect isn't just words, Goku. It's understanding your place in the world. Gohan crouched to meet the boy's eyes. You have great power, greater than you understand. But power without wisdom leads to suffering. Goku's lower lip jutted out. These lessons always confused him. If he was strong enough to lift a tree, why shouldn't he? What was the point of having power if he couldn't use it? Seeing the boy's frustration, Gohan softened his tone. Tell you what. Help me properly prepare the fish, then I'll teach you a new technique. Goku's face lit up instantly. A cool one? With energy blasts? Perhaps. Gohan stood, gesturing toward the fallen tree. But first, let's cut proper firewood from what you've already uprooted. As they worked together, Gohan glanced periodically at the special box hidden on the highest shelf in their house. Inside rested his most precious possession, a small orange sphere with 4 stars suspended inside it. The Dragon Ball, as his master had called it. Lately, the ball had been pulsing with light, always when Goku's power flared. Something was coming. Gohan could feel it in his old bones. That night, Goku tossed in his sleep, trapped in a dream unlike any he'd had before. He floated in emptiness, surrounded by countless lights. Were they stars? They seemed to pulse in rhythm with his heartbeat. Who are you? A voice asked. It came from everywhere and nowhere. I'm Goku, he answered, turning in the void, searching for the speaker. No, the voice replied. What are you? Confusion flooded through him. I don't understand. I'm just me. Laughter echoed around him, neither kind nor cruel. You are everything. The lights began swirling faster, drawing closer. Goku felt a strange pressure building behind his eyes, inside his chest. The voice spoke again, but now it was hundreds of voices overlapping. Remember, remember. Remember. Goku sat bolt upright in bed, gasping. The wooden beams of their small house groaned. Objects around the room, cups, bowls, his clothes, hovered several inches above their surfaces, suspended in midair. Breathe, he whispered to himself, using Grandpa's techniques. Breathe. Everything crashed back down as Goku regained control. Outside, through the window, he could see the full moon rising above the mountains. Its light called to him in a way he didn't understand. Quietly, the boy slipped from his bed and tiptoed past his snoring grandfather. The night air felt electric against his skin as he stepped outside. The moonlight bathed the clearing in silver. Goku tilted his head back, staring directly at the full moon. Something stirred inside him, something primal and powerful. His heart pounded in his ears. "Pretty," he murmured, unable to look away. The first changes were subtle. His eyes widened, pupils dilating until they consumed the whites. His small body trembled. A low growl escaped his throat, a sound no human child should make. Inside the house, Gohan woke with a start, sensing the disturbance. "Goku?" Receiving no answer, he hurried to the boy's empty bed. "No," the old man whispered, dread filling his heart. The moon, a bestial roar shook the mountainside, drowning out Gohan's words. He rushed outside to find a horrifying transformation underway. Where Goku had stood, a massive creature was taking shape, its body growing, brown fur sprouting across bulging muscles. "Goku! Control yourself!" Gohan shouted, knowing it was futile. The great ape transformation had begun. But this was different from the stories he'd heard about Saiyans. The creature's fur wasn't merely brown, it shimmered with cosmic energy, patterns like galaxies swirling through it. Its eyes glowed not red but brilliant white-blue, the same color Goku's eyes turned during his episodes. The beast that had been Goku grew until it towered above the trees. With each heartbeat, pulses of energy rippled outward, distorting reality around it. Trees bent away as if blown by hurricane winds. The ground cracked beneath its massive feet. "Goku!" Gohan called again, desperately. "Remember who you are." The creature turned its gaze toward the old man. For a moment, recognition flickered in those glowing eyes. Then it raised one enormous fist and brought it crashing down. Gohan leapt aside with agility that belied his years, but the shockwave from the impact sent him flying. He hit the ground hard, rolling to absorb the blow. "I've been too cautious," the old martial artist muttered, climbing to his feet. "I should have trained him more aggressively, prepared him for this." The great ape roared again, but the sound warped midway, becoming something else, a harmonic resonance that made reality itself vibrate. The air above the creature tore open, revealing glimpses of other worlds, other dimensions. Gohan had only one chance. If he could cut off the moonlight, perhaps the transformation would reverse. But how to reach the beast without being crushed? Drawing on techniques he hadn't used in decades, Gohan focused his ki. A blue aura surrounded him as he launched himself toward the rampaging creature, darting between its legs. "I'm sorry, Goku," he whispered, gathering energy in his palm. With perfect aim, he fired a beam directly at the boy's tail, the source of the transformation. The energy blast connected, but instead of severing the tail, it was absorbed into the swirling patterns of cosmic energy. The great ape howled, more enraged than pain, and swept its massive arm in an arc Gohan couldn't dodge in time. The blow caught him squarely, sending him crashing through trees and underbrush. Pain exploded across his body as he tumbled to a stop nearly 100 yards away. Blood trickled from the corner of his mouth as he struggled to rise. "Goku!" he gasped. The great ape advanced, each step shaking the mountain. The rifts in reality above it widened, showing impossible landscapes, beings of pure energy watching with countless eyes. In that moment, Gohan understood. This was no ordinary Saiyan child he had found in the woods 8 years ago. Goku was something else, something ancient and unimaginably powerful, merely wearing the form of a Saiyan infant. With the last of his strength, Gohan reached into his GI and pulled out the 4-star Dragon Ball. It glowed brilliantly in his palm, resonating with the energy pouring from the transformed child. "I don't know who sent you to us," Gohan said, holding the ball toward the advancing monster. "But I know you have a good heart, Goku. Remember who you are." The great ape paused, its glowing eyes fixed on the Dragon Ball. A tremor ran through its massive frame. The cosmic patterns flowing through its fur intensified, concentrating around its chest. For one breathless moment, everything went still. Then the creature clutched its head and released a roar that tore further holes in the fabric of reality. The mountain shook violently. Trees uprooted themselves. Boulders cracked and crumbled. Gohan's vision blurred. The last thing he saw was the great ape reaching toward the sky, its claws seemingly gripping the edges of the dimensional rifts, pulling them closed by sheer force of will. Then darkness claimed him. Morning light filtered through the damaged forest canopy when Goku woke. He lay naked in a crater of his own making, confused and disoriented. His head pounded like someone was using it for drum practice. "Grandpa," he called, voice hoarse. Birds chirped in the distance, but otherwise silence answered him. Goku pushed himself to his feet, wobbling slightly. The forest around him was devastated, trees snapped like twigs, deep gouges carved into the earth. "Grandpa," he called louder, panic rising. What happened? The last thing he remembered was looking at the moon, then, nothing. Following an instinct he didn't understand, Goku raced through the broken forest, leaping over fallen trees. He found Gohan lying motionless beside a massive boulder, the 4-star Dragon Ball still clutched in his hand. "Grandpa?" Goku whispered, approaching slowly. Something cold and heavy settled in his stomach. "Wake up, Grandpa." He knelt beside the old man, shaking his shoulder gently. Gohan didn't respond. With trembling fingers, Goku checked for breath the way his grandfather had taught him. Nothing. "No," he whispered, tears welling up. "Please, Grandpa. Please wake up." The air around Goku began to shimmer. The familiar buzzy feeling returned, stronger than ever. Rocks lifted from the ground, orbiting him slowly. "You can't go." Goku shouted, his voice cracking. "I need you to teach me. I don't know what's happening to me." The Dragon Ball in Gohan's lifeless hand pulsed with orange light, resonating with Goku's surging power. The boy's eyes blazed white-blue as the energy inside him responded to his grief. "Come back," he screamed. Reality fractured around him. For a split second, Goku saw something impossible, his grandfather's spirit, connected to a golden thread that stretched away toward some unknown destination. Instinctively, Goku reached out, not with his hand but with his power, trying to grasp that thread, to pull Gohan back. The Dragon Ball flared like a miniature sun. "Goku, no." Gohan's voice echoed, though his body remained still. "This is the natural order. You must not interfere." "But I can fix it." Goku cried, feeling the strange power rushing through him. "I can feel it. Some things aren't meant to be fixed, my boy." The voice grew fainter. "Promise me, promise you'll use your power wisely. Find someone to guide you. Don't leave me alone." Goku reached again for that golden thread, but it slipped through his grasp like smoke. "The Dragon Ball, keep it safe, someone will come." The light faded. The connection broke. Goku collapsed beside his grandfather's body, sobbing uncontrollably. The hovering rocks crashed to the ground as his concentration shattered. Hours passed before Goku could bring himself to move. With great care, he lifted Gohan's body, impossibly light in his small but powerful arms, and carried him back to their home. Following the traditions Gohan had taught him, Goku prepared his grandfather for burial. He washed the old man's body with water from the river, dressed him in his finest gi, and folded his hands over his chest. The 4-star Dragon Ball remained clutched in those lifeless fingers. Goku couldn't bring himself to take it yet. As the sun began to set, Goku dug a grave beneath Gohan's favorite meditation tree. The work should have taken days for a child his age, but Goku's strength made quick work of the earth. "I'm sorry," he whispered as he laid his grandfather to rest. "I think I did this. I don't remember, but I think it was me." He filled the grave and marked it with stones. Standing alone as darkness fell, Goku made a decision. He would honor his grandfather by learning to control his powers, whatever they were. That night, Goku returned to their small house, now empty without Gohan's presence. He carefully placed the 4-star Dragon Ball on the shelf where his grandfather had always kept it. I promise I'll make you proud, Grandpa, he said to the empty room. I'll figure out what's happening to me. As if in response, the Dragon Ball pulsed once with gentle orange light. 5 years passed in relative solitude. Goku grew stronger every day, training himself using Grandpa Gohan's teachings. He avoided looking at the full moon, though he never understood why, just that Gohan had warned him against it. The episodes of uncontrolled power became less frequent as Goku mastered meditation techniques. When they did occur, he handled them alone, retreating deep into the mountains where he couldn't hurt anyone. On his 16th birthday, or what he guessed was his birthday, since neither he nor Gohan had known his actual date of birth, Goku sat cross-legged before his grandfather's grave. I think I'm getting better, Grandpa, he said, plucking absently at the grass. Yesterday I managed to float all the water out of the river and put it back without spilling a drop. A cool breeze rustled through the trees, carrying the scent of approaching autumn. I still don't understand what I am, Goku continued. Sometimes I dream about other worlds. Places with weird colors and beings made of light. They keep saying I should remember something, but I don't know what. He paused, listening to the forest sounds. I get lonely sometimes. The animals are nice, but they don't talk back. Standing, Goku stretched his muscular arms above his head. At 16, he'd grown tall and powerfully built, though still lean. His wild black hair remained untamable, sticking out in all directions. Anyway, I'm going fishing. I'll bring you a flower or something later. As Goku turned to leave, an unfamiliar sound reached his sensitive ears, the rumble of a motor. In all his years on the mountain, he'd never heard such a thing. Curiosity piqued, he leapt into the nearest tree, climbing with inhuman agility to get a better view. In the distance, something moved along the seldom-used mountain road, something metallic that caught the sunlight. What is that? Goku murmured, eyes wide with excitement. Without hesitation, he jumped from the tree and sprinted through the forest, moving with such speed that the trees blurred around him. Within seconds, he reached the road and perched on a boulder overlooking the path. A strange contraption rounded the bend, some kind of vehicle on wheels with a person inside. Goku had seen pictures in the books Grandpa had used to teach him reading, but never the real thing. The vehicle slowed as it approached a particularly rough section of road. Through the clear front panel, Goku could see the driver, a young woman with blue hair, concentrating on navigating the uneven terrain. Overcome with excitement at seeing another human after so long, Goku jumped down onto the road directly in front of the vehicle. Hi there, he called, waving enthusiastically. The woman screamed, swerving violently. The vehicle skidded sideways and came to a stop just inches from Goku, who hadn't moved despite being nearly run over. What the hell? The woman shouted, pushing open the door and stepping out. Are you trying to get yourself killed, kid? Goku tilted his head, examining this strange newcomer with undisguised curiosity. Sorry. I just wanted to say hello. I haven't seen another person in 5 years. The woman blinked, anger giving way to confusion. 5 years? Are you serious? Yep. Goku nodded. I'm Goku. Who are you? Bulma, she replied automatically, still processing his statement. Bulma briefs. She looked him up and down, taking in his homemade clothes, wild hair, and the strange innocence in his eyes despite his powerful physique. Do you live out here all alone? She asked, her scientific curiosity awakening. Since my grandpa died, yeah. Goku approached the vehicle, running his fingers along its metallic surface. What is this thing? It's amazing. It's a car, Bulma said, watching him with growing interest. You've never seen a car before? Goku shook his head. Only in books. Grandpa said we lived far from civilization. He peered through the window at the interior. Why are you up here? Nobody ever comes to Mount Paozu. Bulma hesitated, then reached into her pocket and pulled out a small device. She pressed a button, and a holographic display appeared above it, showing a grid with several blinking lights. "I'm looking for these," she explained, producing a small orange sphere from her bag. "Dragon balls. This one has 2 stars. I've already found 5 of them, and according to my radar, the 6th one is somewhere on this mountain." Goku froze, staring at the ball in her hand. It was identical to Grandpa's treasure except for the number of stars. "I have one of those," he said quietly. Bulma's eyes widened. "You do? Where?" "At my house. It has 4 stars. Goku frowned slightly. "It was my grandpa's most important possession. He's buried with it, well, not anymore. I took it out and keep it on our shelf." "Can you show me?" Bulma asked, excitement clear in her voice. Goku hesitated. "Why do you want it?" "When all 7 Dragon Balls are gathered together, they grant a wish," Bulma explained. "Any wish at all?" "I'm going to wish for the perfect boyfriend." Goku's eyebrows shot up. "Really? Any wish?" His mind raced with possibilities. Could he wish for answers about his strange powers? Or to bring Grandpa Gohan back? "Really," Bulma confirmed. "But I need all 7 balls to make it work." Decision made, Goku nodded. "I'll show you. My house isn't far." Before Bulma could respond, he scooped her up as easily as if she weighed nothing, ignoring her startled yelp. "Hold on tight," he grinned, and then he was running, far faster than any human should be able to move. Bulma screamed as the world blurred around them. Trees whipped past at impossible speeds. Within moments, they arrived at the small house nestled in a clearing. Goku set Bulma down gently, but her legs gave out and she collapsed onto the grass. "What, how did you?" she gasped, staring up at him in shock. Goku rubbed the back of his neck, suddenly self-conscious. "Sorry. I forget not everyone can run that fast." Bulma pushed herself to her feet, studying him with new intensity. "That wasn't just running fast. That was, impossible." "I'm pretty strong, Goku," said with a shrug. "Grandpa said I was special." "Special is an understatement," Bulma muttered. "You just carried me 3 miles in under a minute." Goku laughed. "That wasn't even close to my top speed. Anyway, come see the Dragon Ball." Inside the small house, Goku retrieved the 4-star ball from its place of honor. It glowed softly as he held it out to Bulma. She pulled out her own ball, and both began pulsing with light in unison. "Amazing. It's reacting to the proximity of another ball." "It does that sometimes," Goku said. "Especially when I get emotional." Bulma looked up sharply. "What do you mean?" Goku shifted uncomfortably. "Sometimes I can do things. Weird things that Grandpa couldn't explain. Like running super fast." "That's nothing. I can lift boulders bigger than your car. And sometimes." He hesitated, then held out his hand. The wooden cup on the table rose into the air and floated across the room to hover before Bulma. She gasped, instinctively reaching out to touch it. The cup was suspended in midair, no strings or supports. "That's impossible," she whispered. "Telekinesis isn't real." Goku frowned. "What?" "Moving things with your mind." Bulma stepped closer, scientific curiosity overriding her shock. "What else can you do?" Instead of answering, Goku opened his palm. A small ball of blue-white energy formed above it, illuminating the room with its glow. "Grandpa called this key," he explained. "He could make tiny ones, but mine get pretty big." Bulma stared, speechless. This wasn't martial arts or tricks, this was something beyond current scientific understanding. "Goku," she said finally, "would you consider coming with me? To find the remaining Dragon Ball? Leave the mountain?" Goku blinked in surprise. "Yes. And afterward, Maybe you could visit my laboratory in West City. I'd like to run some tests, if you're comfortable with that. Goku considered the offer. He'd never ventured beyond Mount Paozu, but Grandpa had always said he would need to explore the world eventually. Can I bring my grandpa's Dragon Ball? He asked. Bulma nodded. Of course. It's yours. Goku grinned, decision made. Then let's go on an adventure. The journey began with Bulma teaching Goku about the wider world as they traveled in her capsule car. He absorbed information like a sponge, asking endless questions about technology, cities, and people. So you're saying there are millions of humans? He asked incredulously. Where do they all fit? Bulma laughed. Cities are built upward, not just outward. Some buildings in West City are over 100 stories tall. Wow, Goku breathed, trying to imagine it. And everyone has cars and phones and refrigerators. Most people, yes. She glanced at him curiously. Your grandfather really kept you isolated, huh? Goku nodded. He said it was safer. For me and for others. Because of your abilities? I think so. Goku stared out the window at the passing landscape. When I was younger, I couldn't control it very well. Things would break around me when I got upset. Bulma's scientific mind raced with possibilities. Super strength, telekinesis, energy manipulation, all in one person. It defied everything she knew about human capability. We'll stop in the next town for supplies, she said, changing the subject. According to my radar, the 6th Dragon Ball is still about 2 days' travel from here. As they crested a hill, a town appeared in the valley below, the first human settlement Goku had ever seen. His eyes widened at the sight of buildings clustered together, people moving through streets, vehicles similar to Bulma's navigating between them. It's so busy, he murmured. Bulma smiled at his wonderment. This is nothing. Wait until you see West City. They parked at the edge of town, and Bulma led Goku through the streets. He drew curious stares from locals, partly for his unusual clothing, partly for his incredible physique, and partly for his obvious amazement at everyday sights like streetlights and store windows. Let's get you some new clothes, Bulma suggested, steering him toward a shop. No offense, but homemade deerskin isn't exactly inconspicuous. An hour later, Goku emerged wearing jeans and a simple t-shirt that stretched across his muscular shoulders. He moved awkwardly in the unfamiliar fabric. It feels weird, he complained. Too tight. You look normal now, at least, Bulma said approvingly. Let's grab food and supplies. As they walked through the marketplace, Goku suddenly tensed. His head snapped toward the northern edge of town. What's wrong? Bulma asked, noticing his change in demeanor. Something's coming, he said quietly. Something, not good. Bulma followed his gaze but saw nothing unusual. What do you mean? Before Goku could answer, an explosion rocked the marketplace. People screamed and ran as smoke billowed from a damaged building. Through the chaos emerged a group of armed men in military-style uniforms, each bearing a red ribbon insignia. Nobody move, the leader shouted through a megaphone. This town is now under the control of the Red Ribbon Army. Surrender any valuables and technology immediately. Bulma gasped. The Red Ribbon Army? They're terrorists. Goku frowned, watching as the soldiers began threatening civilians. They're hurting people. We should hide, Bulma whispered urgently, tugging at his arm. Those guys are dangerous. But Goku was already moving, walking calmly toward the armed men. The leader noticed him approaching and pointed his weapon directly at Goku's chest. Stop right there, kid. Goku didn't slow. You shouldn't threaten people. It's not nice. The soldier laughed. Nice? We're not here to be nice. He gestured to his men. Teach this brat a lesson. 2 soldiers approached, cracking their knuckles. Goku stood perfectly still, waiting until they were within arm's reach. Then he moved, so fast the human eye could barely track it. One moment he was standing vulnerable, the next both soldiers were on the ground, unconscious. What the leader raised his weapon and fired. Goku caught the bullet. Not dodged, caught it, plucking it from the air with 2 fingers. He looked at the small metal projectile curiously before dropping it to the ground. Those could hurt someone, he said, voice hardening. Now I'm getting mad. The air around him began to distort slightly. The pavement beneath his feet cracked in a circular pattern. The remaining soldiers took involuntary steps backward, sensing something unnatural about the teenager before them. Shoot him, the leader screamed, raising his own weapon. A barrage of bullets flew toward Goku. He didn't move, didn't need to. The bullet stopped midair, inches from his body, suspended as if frozen in time. With a flick of his wrist, Goku sent them harmlessly into the ground. Last chance, he said quietly. Leave these people alone. Instead of retreating, the Red Ribbon leader pulled a radio from his belt. Send in the mech. Now. The ground trembled as something massive approached from beyond the town's edge. A mechanical monstrosity rounded the corner, a bipedal robot nearly 20 feet tall, armed with machine guns and missile launchers. Civilians scattered, screaming. Bulma ran to Goku's side. We need to get out of here. That's an RRX-3 combat mech, it can level this entire town. Goku glanced at her, his expression calm. It's okay, Bulma. I won't let it hurt anyone. The mech stomped forward, targeting systems locking onto Goku. Target acquired, announced a mechanical voice. Eliminating resistance. Missiles launched from its shoulders, streaking toward Goku and Bulma. Goku stepped in front of his new friend, raised one hand, and a shimmer of energy formed in the air before them, an invisible barrier. The missiles impacted and exploded against it, the force contained and redirected upward into the sky. When the smoke cleared, Goku and Bulma stood unharmed. How did you? Bulma trailed off, staring at him in awe. Goku didn't answer. His eyes had taken on that familiar white-blue glow as he focused on the mech. With deliberate steps, he walked toward the mechanical behemoth. The mech opened fire with its machine guns. Bullets rained down but veered around Goku as if deflected by some unseen force. The Red Ribbon soldiers watched in horror as their ultimate weapon proved ineffective against a single teenager. Goku stopped directly in front of the mech and placed one hand against its metal leg. Enough, he said simply. Power surged from his palm. Not destructive energy, something else. The mech's systems flickered and died. Its limbs locked in place. The lights across its control panels went dark. What did you do to it? Bulma asked, approaching cautiously. I asked it to stop, Goku said, the glow fading from his eyes. The energy inside it listened. The Red Ribbon soldiers broke ranks and fled, leaving their commander standing alone. He pulled a pistol and aimed it at Goku's head. You're coming with me, freak, he snarled. The general will want to study whatever the hell you are. Goku turned to face him. No, he said simply. The commander's finger tightened on the trigger, then stopped. His entire body froze in place, the pistol shaking in his grip as he fought against an invisible force. You can't move because I don't want you to, Goku explained, his voice gentle despite the display of power. I won't hurt you, but you need to leave and never come back. Sweat beaded on the commander's forehead as he strained against Goku's telekinetic hold. What are you? I don't know, Goku admitted. But I know I won't let you hurt innocent people. He released his mental grip. The commander stumbled backward, then turned and ran after his men. The townspeople emerged from hiding, murmuring in amazement. Goku suddenly found himself surrounded by grateful civilians patting his back, shaking his hand, calling him a hero. The attention made him uncomfortable. These simple expressions of gratitude were foreign to him after years of solitude. Bulma pushed through the crowd and grabbed his arm. "We should go," she whispered urgently. "The Red Ribbon Army will be back with reinforcements." Goku nodded, allowing her to lead him back to the car. As they drove away, he kept glancing in the rearview mirror at the town growing smaller in the distance. "Those people," he said finally. "They called me a hero." "Because you are one," Bulma replied, still processing what she'd witnessed. "Goku, what you did back there, it wasn't just impressive. It was impossible." Goku shrugged. "It didn't feel impossible to me." "That's what worries me," Bulma muttered. "The Red Ribbon Army is one of the most dangerous criminal organizations in the world. They're going to come after you now." "Let them try," Goku said, then immediately looked surprised at his own confidence. Bulma glanced sideways at him. This boy from the mountains was far more than he appeared, perhaps more than he himself understood. "You know," she said thoughtfully, "with your abilities, you could do a lot of good in the world. Not just fighting bad guys, but helping people, solving problems." Goku considered this. "Grandpa always said I was meant for something important. Maybe this is it." As they continued their journey, neither noticed the small drone following at a distance, recording everything for its Red Ribbon Army operators. In a hidden bunker thousands of miles away, General Red slammed his fist on the table, rattling cups and sending papers flying. "Play it again," he ordered. A technician nodded nervously, rewinding the footage from the drone. Once more, the assembled officers watched Goku neutralize their forces with apparent ease. "Impossible," muttered Commander Black, General Red's second-in-command. "No human could catch bullets or disable the mech with a touch." "Who said anything about human?" General Red leaned forward, studying Goku's glowing eyes on the freeze frame. "This boy is something else entirely." He turned to a figure lurking in the shadows, a tall, thin man with glasses and a lab coat. "Dr. Gero. Your analysis." The scientist stepped forward, adjusting his glasses. "Fascinating subject. The energy readings from our drone suggest power beyond anything in our database. Not merely superhuman strength or speed, the boy appears capable of manipulating energy at a fundamental level. Can you replicate it?" General Red demanded. Gero's lips curved into a cold smile. "Given adequate samples and study time, perhaps. But why replicate when we could capture? Imagine harnessing such power directly." General Red nodded, a cruel glint in his eye. "Find him. I want every available agent on this. That boy could be the key to our global domination." As the officers dispersed to carry out their orders, Gero lingered, reviewing the footage again privately. "Fascinating," he murmured. "Energy manipulation at the quantum level. Almost as if he's rewriting reality itself." The scientist made notes in his personal journal. This discovery could accelerate his android project by decades, if he could unravel the secrets behind the boy's abilities. Days later, Goku and Bulma arrived at a vast desert. According to the Dragon radar, the sixth ball lay somewhere beneath the shifting sands. "It could be buried anywhere," Bulma sighed, surveying the endless dunes. "This could take weeks." Goku stepped forward, closing his eyes. "Maybe I can find it." "How?" Instead of answering, Goku placed his palm flat against the ground. He reached out with his senses, feeling the energy patterns beneath the surface. The Dragon balls had a distinct signature, a resonance he recognized from years of contact with his grandfather's four-star ball. "There," he said suddenly, pointing to a spot nearly half a mile away. "It's deep, but I can feel it." Bulma checked her radar. "That's exactly right." "How did you know?" "Everything has energy," Goku explained, already walking toward the location. "The Dragon balls have a specific pattern. Like a heartbeat." When they reached the spot, Goku knelt and placed both hands on the sand. His eyes took on that now familiar glow as he concentrated. The ground before him began to shift, sand swirling upward to form a perfectly cylindrical hole. Deeper and deeper the hole went, until, nearly 60 feet down, something orange glinted in the sunlight. With a gesture, Goku lifted the Dragon Ball from its resting place and floated it up to hover before Bulma. 6 stars, she confirmed, plucking it from the air. That's 6 down, 1 to go. Goku grinned, but his smile faltered as a new sensation washed over him, a feeling of being watched. He spun around, scanning the horizon. What's wrong? Bulma asked. Someone's coming, Goku said, his voice low. Someone, powerful. The air seemed to thicken, pressure building like before a thunderstorm. A sudden wind kicked up, swirling sand into miniature cyclones. Is it the Red Ribbon Army? Bulma moved closer to Goku, clutching the Dragon Ball. Goku shook his head. No. This is different. More like me. High above the desert, something streaked through the sky, a bright point of light moving too fast to be an aircraft. It circled once, then descended rapidly, landing with enough force to create a small crater 100 yards away. The dust cleared to reveal a man standing at the impact point. He was tall and powerfully built, with flame-like black hair that stood upright. He wore some kind of armor with shoulder pads and gloves. Most distinctively, he had what appeared to be a furry brown belt wrapped around his waist. No, Goku realized with a start. Not a belt. A tail. Just like the one Goku himself had lost in an accident years ago. The stranger surveyed the desert with disdain before his eyes locked onto Goku. A smirk crossed his face as he began walking toward them with predatory confidence. Stay behind me, Goku told Bulma, stepping forward to meet the newcomer. The stranger stopped 20 paces away, crossing his arms over his chest. So, you're the one causing ripples across the cosmos. Pathetic. I expected something more impressive. Who are you? Goku asked, instinctively shifting into a fighting stance. I am Vegeta, Prince of all Saiyans, the man declared proudly. And you, boy, are a disgrace to your heritage. Goku frowned in confusion. Saiyans? What are you talking about? Vegeta laughed coldly. You don't even know what you are, do you? You're a Saiyan, a warrior race from beyond this primitive world. Though you seem to have forgotten that, living among these weaklings. I'm human, Goku said firmly. Raised on Earth. You're as human as I am, Vegeta sneered. He uncurled the tail from his waist, letting it swish behind him. Did you have one of these before these Earthlings removed it? A tail? Goku's hand unconsciously moved to the small of his back, where his own tail had once been. How did you know? Because you're a Saiyan, fool. Sent here as an infant to conquer this pathetic planet. Vegeta's eyes narrowed. But you failed your mission spectacularly. Instead of destruction, I sense you've been playing protector. Bulma stepped forward, unable to contain herself. Are you saying Goku is an alien? Vegeta's gaze flickered to her dismissively. The female speaks out of turn. Yes, your Goku is no Earthling. His real name is Kakarot, third-class warrior of the Saiyan race. The name stirred something deep in Goku's memory, a fragment of that recurring dream. Kakarot. It felt simultaneously foreign and familiar. Why are you here? Goku demanded. I sensed a power surge unlike anything I've felt since the destruction of our homeworld. Vegeta circled Goku slowly, assessing him. A power no third-class warrior should possess. At first I thought my scouter was malfunctioning, but now I see. He stopped, eyes widening slightly. There's something different about you, Kakarot. Something beyond ordinary Saiyan potential. What are you hiding? I'm not hiding anything, Goku said truthfully. I don't fully understand my own abilities. Vegeta snorted in disbelief. Perhaps a demonstration will refresh your memory. Without warning, he lunged forward, moving with blinding speed. His fist connected solidly with Goku's jaw, sending the younger scion flying backward into a dune. Goku! Bulma screamed. Goku emerged from the sand, wiping blood from his lip. The blow had been powerful, more powerful than anything he'd ever experienced. Yet instead of fear, he felt something unexpected, excitement. "You're strong," Goku said, a smile spreading across his face. "Really strong." "And you're holding back," Vegeta replied, dropping into a fighting stance. "Show me your true power, Kakarot." Goku shook his head. "I can't. Not here." He glanced at Bulma. "I might hurt her. Or worse. Hiding behind human weakness." Vegeta scoffed. "Perhaps this will motivate you." The prince raised his hand, palm facing toward Bulma. Energy gathered in his palm, a glowing sphere of destructive power. "No!" Goku shouted, suddenly between Bulma and the energy blast, moving faster than even Vegeta could track. The air around Goku distorted as his power flared. His eyes blazed white-blue, no longer making any pretense of restraint. "You will not hurt her," Goku said, his voice resonating strangely, carrying harmonics that made the very air vibrate. Vegeta lowered his hand, genuine surprise crossing his features. What is this power? No scion has ever." The ground beneath Goku cracked in that familiar circular pattern, spreading outward. Sand rose around him, suspended in defiance of gravity. The sky above darkened as reality itself seemed to bend around his form. "I don't want to fight you," Goku said, the glow in his eyes intensifying. "But I will protect my friends." Vegeta stared, his scouter frantically beeping before exploding from the energy readings. For the first time, uncertainty crossed the prince's face. "This isn't scion power," he muttered. "This is something else." With a roar of defiance, Vegeta charged forward, fist drawn back for a devastating blow. Goku didn't move, didn't need to. Vegeta's fist stopped inches from Goku's face, held back by an invisible force. "Impossible." Vegeta strained against the telekinetic barrier, veins bulging in his forehead. Goku raised his hand, and Vegeta was lifted off the ground, suspended helplessly in midair. "I said, I don't want to fight you." Goku repeated calmly. Rage contorted Vegeta's features. "How dare you? I am the prince of all scions. Release me at once. Only if you promise not to attack again." "I make no promises to a low-class warrior." Goku sighed, then closed his eyes in concentration. The air between them shimmered, and suddenly both scions stood not in the desert but in an endless void filled with stars. "What trickery is this?" Vegeta demanded, looking around wildly. "No trick," Goku replied. "I've created a pocket dimension. We can fight here without endangering Bulma or the Earth." Vegeta's expression shifted from rage to shock to calculating interest. "No scion has such power." "What are you really, Kakarot?" "I told you, I don't know." Goku released his telekinetic hold. "But I'm willing to find out. Maybe you can help me understand where I came from." Before Vegeta could respond, the pocket dimension shuddered. Cracks appeared in the starry void around them, as if reality itself was breaking. "What's happening?" Vegeta demanded. Goku frowned in concentration. "Something's interfering, something powerful." The dimension collapsed, depositing them back in the desert beside a very confused Bulma. But they weren't alone anymore. A tall, purple-skinned humanoid figure hovered above them, wearing ornate garments and sporting pointed ears. Beside him floated a blue-skinned being with white hair and a staff. "That's quite enough," the purple being said, his voice casual despite the power that radiated from him. "I can't have you two tearing holes in reality. It makes my job so much harder." "Who are you?" Goku and Vegeta asked simultaneously. The figure descended gracefully to the sand. "I am Beerus," god of destruction. And you, he pointed directly at Goku, have some explaining to do. Vegeta immediately dropped to one knee, head bowed. Lord Beerus, he said, fear evident in his voice. I had no idea you would honor us with your presence. Beerus ignored the prince, focusing entirely on Goku. Interesting, he murmured, circling the young scion much as Vegeta had earlier. Very interesting indeed. The blue being beside him tapped his staff on the ground. It appears our suspicions were correct, my lord. The energy signature is unmistakable. Indeed, Whis, Beerus agreed. But how is it possible? And in a scion, of all creatures? Goku looked between them in confusion. You know something about my powers? Beerus sniffed. Know something? Boy, I've felt that energy signature only once before, from Zeno himself. Zeno? Goku repeated. The Omni King, Whis explained gently. The supreme ruler of all universes. The most powerful being in existence. Vegeta rose slowly to his feet, staring at Goku with new understanding and barely concealed jealousy. Are you saying Kakarot possesses powers similar to the Omni King? Not similar, Beerus corrected. Identical. Which should be impossible. His eyes narrowed dangerously. Unless. Whis placed a restraining hand on Beerus's shoulder. Perhaps we should continue this conversation elsewhere, my lord. The situation requires delicacy. Beerus nodded reluctantly. Fine. But he's coming with us. He jabbed a finger at Goku. I have questions that need answering. I'm not going anywhere without Bulma, Goku said firmly. Goku, it's okay, Bulma interjected, though fear was evident in her voice. I can wait here. No need for that, Whis said cheerfully. I'm sure Lord Beerus wouldn't mind a small detour to drop the young lady somewhere safe before we proceed to his temple. Beerus sighed dramatically. Fine. Bring the human. Bring the prince too, if you must. But let's go before I lose my patience and destroy this desert. Whis extended his staff. Everyone place a hand on me, please. And do hold on tight. Goku took Bulma's hand, giving it a reassuring squeeze as they both touched Whis's shoulder. Vegeta hesitantly placed his hand on the angel's back. Here we go, Whis announced cheerfully. 3, 2, 1. The desert vanished in a flash of light, replaced by streaking stars and cosmic phenomena as they traveled faster than should be possible, toward an unknown destination and revelations that would change Goku's understanding of himself forever. Chapter 2, Ascension. Traveling through space with Whis felt like being stretched into a beam of light. Stars blurred into streaks of color as they shot across galaxies. Goku's stomach did somersaults, but he couldn't help grinning at the rush. Beside him, Bulma's face had turned an interesting shade of green. Almost there, Whis announced cheerfully. First stop, Capsule Corporation. They decelerated suddenly, reality snapping back into focus. Goku blinked as his feet touched solid ground. They stood on a massive circular lawn surrounded by dome-shaped buildings. This is your home? Goku asked Bulma, who was wobbling unsteadily beside him. She nodded weakly. Yep. Family compound. Just give me a second to, not throw up. Beerus sniffed the air, his ears perking up. What is that delightful aroma? Probably Mom's cooking, Bulma managed, regaining her composure. She's always making something. The god of destruction's entire demeanor changed. Food? Real food, not that instant nonsense Whis keeps materializing. Whis sighed. My lord, we have more important matters, nonsense. Dimensional crises can wait until after lunch. Beerus was already striding toward the largest building, following his nose. Goku's stomach growled loudly. Food does sound good. Science, Vegeta muttered, rolling his eyes. Always thinking with their stomachs. Bulma led them inside, calling out, "Mom! Dad! We've got, guests." A blonde woman wearing an apron popped her head out from the kitchen. "Oh, Bulma dear. Welcome home. And you've brought friends." She didn't seem remotely fazed by the appearance of alien visitors. 30 minutes later, they sat around an enormous dining table loaded with food. Goku and Beerus were engaged in an unspoken eating competition, plates stacking up beside them at alarming rates. Dr. Brief, Bulma's father, observed with scientific interest. "Fascinating metabolisms. The energy requirements must be extraordinary." "You have no idea," Whis said, daintily eating a strawberry parfait. "Lord Beerus can consume the caloric equivalent of a small star when he's really hungry." Goku paused between bites. "This is amazing. Way better than the fish and berries I'm used to." Beerus nodded in agreement, mouth full of noodles. Bulma stood suddenly. "While they're distracted with food, can someone please explain what's going on? Why does Goku have the power of some Omni whatever?" "Omni King," Whis corrected. "And that's precisely what we intend to investigate." Vegeta, who had been eating with more restraint, looked up. "The legends say Zeno has existed since the beginning of time. How could Kakarot possess the same power?" "That," Beerus said, swallowing a massive bite, "is the troubling question." Goku set down his chopsticks. "Look, I just want to understand what I am. All my life, I've had these abilities I couldn't explain. Grandpa Gohan tried to help me control them, but he didn't understand them either." "Your abilities are only the surface," Whis said softly. "If our suspicions are correct, what flows through you isn't merely power, it's the essence of creation and destruction itself." "That sounds heavy," Goku replied, rubbing the back of his neck. "Indeed." Beerus wiped his mouth with a napkin. "Which is why you're coming to my world for proper training. We can't have someone with Omni King energy running around unchecked. You've already torn 3 holes in the fabric of reality that we know of." "I have?" Goku looked surprised. "The night your grandfather died," Whis said gently. "The confrontation with Vegeta in the desert. And there was another incident 5 years ago that set off cosmic alarm bells across the multiverse." Goku's expression darkened. "The night Grandpa died. I don't remember what happened. I looked at the full moon, and then—" "Ah," Vegeta interjected. "The great ape transformation. All Scions with tails transform under the full moon. But his transformation was different," Whis noted. "Our observers reported energy fluctuations unlike anything recorded from a Scion Oozura form. The cosmic patterns, the reality distortions." "I killed him, didn't I?" Goku asked quietly. "Grandpa Gohan." Silence fell around the table. "Based on the energy readings from that night, it seems likely," Whis admitted. "Though perhaps not intentionally." Goku stared down at his hands. "I always suspected, but never knew for sure." Bulma placed her hand over his. "Goku, you can't blame yourself. You didn't know what would happen. Which is precisely why training is necessary," Beerus cut in. "Untrained power is dangerous power. Trust me, I know." Goku looked up, determination replacing guilt. "Then I'll train. I never want to hurt someone I care about again." "I'm coming too," Bulma announced. Beerus choked on his drink. "Absolutely not. My world is no place for humans." "With all due respect, Lord Beerus," Bulma said, not sounding respectful at all, "Goku needs someone who understands him as a person, not just a power source. Besides, I'm a scientist. I might spot things you're godly." Perspective misses. "She has a point, my lord," Whis said thoughtfully. "A mortal perspective could be valuable." "Fine," Beerus grumbled. "But if she complains about the accommodations, she goes straight home." "I want to come as well," Vegeta declared, crossing his arms. "As Prince of all Scions, it's my duty to understand this power." More like you can't stand being outdone, Bulma muttered. Vegeta glared at her. Watch your tone, human. Both of you can come, Whis interrupted before an argument could start. The more perspectives, the better. But be warned, Lord Beerus's training is not for the faint of heart. Goku grinned. Sounds exciting. 2 hours later, after Bulma had packed enough equipment and clothes for a small army, they gathered on the lawn. Dr. Brief had insisted on giving Goku a full medical examination before they left, collecting blood samples and scans that left the scientist baffled. Your cellular structure is unlike anything I've ever seen, he told Goku. Scion-based genetics, certainly, but there are energy patterns woven through your DNA that defy analysis. That's because conventional science can't detect divine essence, Whis explained. What you're seeing is merely the physical container. Fascinating, Dr. Brief murmured. If you wouldn't mind, I'd like to run more tests when you return. Sure thing, Goku agreed easily. Everyone ready? Whis called, extending his staff. They placed their hands on him as before. This time, Goku was prepared for the sensation of faster-than-light travel. The world vanished in a flash, replaced by streaming cosmic energy. So where exactly are we going? Goku asked as they flew. My world exists in a realm between universes, Beerus explained. A nexus point from which I can reach any part of Universe 7 when destruction is needed. Universe 7? Bulma asked. You mean there are others? 12 in total, Whis replied. Each with its own god of destruction, Supreme Kai, an angel attendant like myself. And the Omni King rules over all of them, Vegeta added, looking sideways at Goku with a mixture of envy and confusion. More accurately, he exists outside the multiverse structure, Whis clarified. Zeno observes rather than directly rules. He intervenes only when absolutely necessary. When he does intervene, entire universes can be erased, Beerus added casually. Which is why your connection to his power is so concerning, Goku. Before Goku could respond, they decelerated. A small planet materialized before them, floating in a void filled with floating hourglasses and strange celestial objects. Welcome to my humble abode, Beerus announced as they landed on a grassy courtyard. Goku whistled, taking in the massive trees supporting ornate structures, the serene lakes, and the perpetual twilight sky. This place is amazing. Bulma was already scanning everything with a device from her pocket. The gravitational fields here are impossible. And these energy readings. Science will only get you so far here, human, Beerus said dismissively. This realm operates on divine principles, not physical laws. All laws are physical once you understand them properly, Bulma countered, not intimidated in the slightest. Whis chuckled. I like her. Vegeta stalked away, examining the training grounds visible in the distance. When do we begin? I didn't come for sightseeing. Always in such a hurry, Beerus yawned. Fine. Whis, get them settled while I take a nap. Begin the preliminary assessment when I wake. Yes, my lord. Whis bowed slightly as Beerus wandered off toward a massive tree. Does he always nap before important things? Goku asked, watching the god of destruction go. Lord Beerus sleeps for decades at a time, Whis explained. The fact that he's only taking a short nap should tell you how seriously he's taking this situation. Decades? Bulma exclaimed. How old is he? Millions of years, give or take. Whis gestured for them to follow him. Come, I'll show you to your quarters. We have much to discuss before training begins. As they walked, Goku felt an odd sensation, like coming home to a place he'd never been. The energy of this realm resonated with something deep inside him, calling to the power he'd struggled to understand his entire life. I've been here before, he murmured. Whis glanced back sharply. What did you say? I don't know why I said that, Goku admitted. It just feels familiar. Whis and Vegeta exchanged significant looks. What? Goku asked. No mortal has ever set foot in this realm before, Whis said quietly. Not in billions of years of existence. Well, there's a first time for everything, right? Goku laughed, but no one joined in. They arrived at a circular building with several doorways. These will be your quarters, Whis announced. They'll adapt to your preferences automatically. Cool, Goku said, stepping through the nearest doorway. Inside, the room shifted and transformed, becoming a simple space reminiscent of his mountain home, a bed, a small table, wooden floors. Neat trick, Bulma commented as her own room materialized with advanced technology and comfortable furnishings. Vegeta's room, unsurprisingly, resembled a Spartan military barracks with training equipment. Rest for now, Whis advised. When Lord Beerus wakes, we'll begin assessing the extent of Goku's connection to Omni King energy. As the others settled in, Whis retreated to his private chambers. He waved his staff, and a shimmering portal appeared. Grand Minister, he called softly. A moment of your time, please. The portal wavered, and the image of a small, blue-skinned being appeared, similar to Whis but with an aura of even greater authority. My son, the Grand Minister greeted him. I take it you've located the source of the disturbances. Yes, father. A scion from Earth named Goku. Whis hesitated. The energy signature is undeniable. Somehow, this mortal carries Xeno's essence within him. The Grand Minister's expression remained serene, but his eyes sharpened. Has he shown awareness of his true nature? No. He believes his powers are simply abnormalities. He has no knowledge of Xeno or the cosmic hierarchy. Keep it that way for now, the Grand Minister instructed. This situation requires careful management. If the other destroyers learn of his existence before he's properly contained. Lord Beerus already knows, Whis pointed out. Beerus can be managed. The others cannot be trusted with this information yet. The Grand Minister paused. There are factions forming in response to these disturbances. Some see opportunity, others threat. And the Omni King himself? What does he say about this? The Grand Minister's expression became unreadable. Xeno has been unusually quiet on this matter. Continue your investigation. Determine if this scion is a vessel, a copy, or something else entirely. And if he poses a threat? Then you have my authorization to take whatever steps are necessary. The portal closed, leaving Whis alone with his thoughts. He looked toward Goku's quarters, wondering what secrets lay within the unassuming scion. Goku couldn't sleep. The energy of Beerus's world hummed around him, resonating with his own power in ways both comforting and unsettling. He slipped out of his room and found himself drawn to a cliff overlooking a vast lake that reflected the strange stars above. Can't sleep either. Bulma's voice came from behind him. Goku turned, smiling as she approached. Too much to think about. She sat beside him, hugging her knees to her chest. Tell me about it. 3 days ago, my biggest concern was finding all the Dragon Balls. Now I'm on a god's personal planet, learning that my new friend might have the powers of a multiversal king. Sorry for dragging you into this, Goku said. Are you kidding? This is the greatest scientific opportunity in history. Her eyes sparkled with excitement. Though I am a little terrified. Goku laughed. Yeah, me too. All my life, I just thought I was weird. Now I'm finding out I might be something else entirely. Does it change how you see yourself? Bulma asked carefully. Goku considered this, looking up at the stars. I don't think so. I'm still just me. Having fancy titles or special powers doesn't change who I am inside. That's what I like about you, Goku, Bulma said, smiling. Most people would let this go to their heads. Most people haven't had Grandpa Gohan whack them with a stick every time they got cocky, Goku replied with a grin. His smile faded. I wish he was here. He'd know how to make sense of all this. They sat in companionable silence for a while. What will you do? Bulma finally asked. If it turns out you really do have these Omni King powers. I'm not sure, Goku admitted. I've always just wanted to become stronger, to test my limits. But if what they're saying is true, maybe I don't have limits. Everyone has limits, came Vegeta's voice as he approached from the shadows. Goku nodded to him, not surprised by his appearance. Couldn't sleep either. This place unsettles me, Vegeta admitted, remaining standing. Gods and angels. Cosmic hierarchies. It's a far cry from the simple conquering I was raised for. Conquering? Bulma raised an eyebrow. Vegeta crossed his arms. The Saiyan race were planet conquerors. Elite warriors who cleared worlds for sale to the highest bidder. That sounds horrible, Bulma said. It was our way, Vegeta replied stiffly. Until Frieza destroyed our world. Frieza? Goku asked. An emperor who ruled most of the galaxy. He feared the Saiyan potential for growth, so he eliminated us. Vegeta's face hardened. Only a handful survived. I was taken into his service as a child. That's awful, Bulma said softly. Vegeta shrugged, uncomfortable with the sympathy. It made me strong. Is that why you came looking for me? Goku asked. Because I'm one of the last Saiyans. I came because your power spike registered across the galaxy, Vegeta corrected. No Saiyan should be capable of what you did. I wanted to see for myself. And now? Vegeta looked away. Now I'm trying to understand how the universe could be so cruel as to give ultimate power to a third-class warrior with no proper training or heritage. Hey! Bulma protested. It's okay, Goku said. He's not wrong. I don't know the first thing about being a warrior prince or whatever. I'm just a guy from the mountains. Perhaps that's the point, came Whis' voice as he floated down to join them. Perhaps that's precisely why you were chosen. All three turned to face the angel. Chosen? Goku repeated. Whis sighed, tapping his staff gently on the ground. I wasn't going to share this yet, but since you're all having this heart-to-heart. There are theories about your situation, Goku. I'm listening, Goku said, leaning forward. The most plausible explanation is that you're a vessel, a container created to hold a portion of Zeno's essence. But that raises the question of why. Why would the most powerful being in existence separate a portion of his power? Maybe he didn't do it on purpose. Bulma suggested. Impossible, Vegeta scoffed. Nothing happens to beings of that level by accident. Quite right, Whis agreed. Which leaves us with purpose. The Omni King intentionally placed his power within a mortal form. But why me? Goku asked. Why a Saiyan baby sent to Earth? That, Whis said, is the question that worries even the highest echelons of the celestial hierarchy. The implications hung in the air between them. There's something you're not telling us, Bulma observed shrewdly. Whis smiled enigmatically. Many things, Ms. Briefs. Many things. But some knowledge is dangerous before its time. The ground suddenly trembled beneath them. Ah, Whis said. Lord Beerus is awake. Earlier than expected. We should return. As they walked back toward the main compound, Goku fell into step beside Whis. One more question. Does the name, Supreme Void, mean anything to you? Whis stopped so abruptly that Vegeta nearly walked into him. Where did you hear that name? In my dreams, Goku said. A voice keeps warning me about something called the Supreme Void. Whis' usual composure faltered momentarily. We should hurry back to Lord Beerus. Immediately. Back on Earth, darkness gathered in an abandoned temple deep in the mountains near where Goku had grown up. The air shimmered with unnatural energy as reality thinned. A black fissure appeared, hanging in the air like a tear in fabric. From within came a voice that was not quite a voice, more a disturbance in the fabric of existence itself. "The vessel is gone," it observed. "Taken beyond our immediate reach." Shadows coalesced around the fissure, taking vaguely humanoid form. "The destroyers move faster than anticipated. They sense our awakening." "It matters not," came another ripple in reality. "The vessel is untrained, unaware. By the time they realize our purpose, the convergence will be complete." "And the others? Those who might interfere? Let them come," the central void pulsed. "We have waited since before time. We can be patient a while longer." The darkness spread outward from the temple, subtle tendrils of influence seeping into the surrounding forests. Plants withered. Animals fled. The natural order recoiled from the wrongness that had entered the world. "Begin the preparations," the voice commanded. "When the vessel returns, we must be ready." Beerus was hovering cross-legged above a cushion when they returned, his eyes closed in meditation. He cracked one eye open as they approached. "Discussing secrets behind my back, Whis?" "Merely answering some preliminary questions, my lord," Whis replied smoothly. Beerus unfolded from his position, stretching like the feline he resembled. "Well? Did you tell them the bad news or just the mysterious parts?" "I thought it best to wait for you." "Bad news?" Goku repeated, looking between them. Beerus sighed. "Might as well get it over with. Sit." They arranged themselves on cushions that materialized from nowhere. "The presence of Omni King energy outside its proper vessel has consequences," Beerus began. "Universal consequences. Balance is disrupted. Barriers weaken." "What kind of barriers?" Bulma asked. "The ones that separate what is from what isn't," Beerus said cryptically. "Reality is more fragile than mortals understand. It's maintained by specific forces in perfect tension." "The Supreme Void," Goku said quietly. Beerus's eyes narrowed. "So you do know." "Only the name," Goku admitted. "From dreams." "Not dreams. Memories." Beerus turned to Whis. "Show them." Whis tapped his staff on the ground, and a three-dimensional image appeared in the air between them, a swirling vortex of absolute darkness surrounded by countless universes. "Before creation, there was void," Whis explained. "When Zeno brought the multiverse into being, that void was pushed outward, beyond the boundaries of existence. But it wasn't destroyed," Beerus continued. "It can't be destroyed because it's the absence of existence itself. Instead, it was contained, held at bay by the perfect balance of creative and destructive forces." Goku leaned forward, transfixed by the image. "And my powers are disrupting that balance." "Precisely," Whis confirmed. "With Omni King energy operating independently, fluctuating without control, the barriers have begun to weaken. The Supreme Void senses this weakness. It's trying to get in," Bulma realized, her scientific mind grasping the concept. Like pressure finding a crack in a dam." "A crude but effective analogy," Beerus nodded. "If those barriers fail completely, the void would consume everything. Not destroy, erase. As if it never existed at all." "That's why I need training," Goku said, determination hardening his features. "To control these powers and reinforce the barriers." "Yes and no," Beerus replied. "Control is certainly needed, but there's a more immediate concern. The void doesn't act alone. It has servants. Entities that were once part of our reality but chose to embrace nothingness. Agents of the void," Whis elaborated. "They can cross the weakened barriers, taking physical form in our reality. And they'll come for me," Goku concluded. "They'll try to use you," Beerus corrected. "Your connection to Omni King power makes you a potential gateway. If they can control you, or corrupt you, or extract that power." The implications hung heavily in the air. "Vegeta," who had been silently absorbing this information, finally spoke. So the fate of all existence rests on training this clueless mountain boy. Pretty much, Beerus confirmed. Vegeta stood abruptly. Then we have no time to waste. Kakarot may be a third-class nobody, but he's still a scion. And scions are nothing if not adaptable. Wow, Vegeta, Goku grinned. That almost sounded like a compliment. It was an acknowledgement of biological fact, not a compliment, Vegeta snapped. Now, when do we start? Beerus smiled, revealing pointed teeth. Right now. Training under Beerus and Whis made Grandpa Gohan's lessons seem like child's play. Days blurred into weeks as Goku was pushed to limits he didn't know he had. Physical training, running laps around the planet wearing weighted clothing, sparring against Whis while blindfolded, dodging Beerus's destruction energy, was only the beginning. The real challenge came in mental training. Meditation sessions lasted for days as Goku learned to sense the cosmic energy flowing through him, to understand its patterns and rhythms. Visualization is key, was instructed during one such session. Your power doesn't just exist within you, it connects to the fabric of reality itself. Goku, floating cross-legged above the ground, his body surrounded by flickering white-blue energy, concentrated on the sensation. I can feel it, like threads connecting everything. Good, Whis encouraged. Now, try to follow one thread to its source. Goku's consciousness expanded, following the energy back through himself, beyond his physical form, stretching across dimensions. For a brief moment, he glimpsed something vast and incomprehensible, an entity composed of pure light existing in all places simultaneously. He snapped back to his body with a gasp, dropping to the ground. What did you see? Whis asked intently. I don't have words for it, Goku panted. Something bigger than everything. Watching. Waiting. Xeno, Whis confirmed. You touched the consciousness of the Omni King himself. Did he notice me? Almost certainly. Whis helped Goku to his feet. The question is, what will he do about it? Meanwhile, Bulma divided her time between studying the strange physics of Beerus's realm and observing Goku's training. Her instruments consistently failed to properly measure the energies involved, but her notes grew more extensive by the day. It's not just power, she explained to Vegeta one evening. As they watched Goku practicing energy control. It's something more fundamental. Like he's tapping into the operating system of reality itself. Operating system? Vegeta raised an eyebrow. It's a computer term. The basic rules that everything else runs on. She adjusted a dial on her scanner. Most beings, even powerful ones like you, work within those rules. Goku seems to be able to rewrite them temporarily. Vegeta scowled. I refuse to believe Kakarot is inherently superior. There must be a way for others to access similar abilities. Jealous? Bulma teased. Pragmatic, Vegeta countered. If the void creatures are as dangerous as Beerus claims, having only one being capable of stopping them is strategic foolishness. Bulma gave him an appraising look. You know, that's actually a good point. Across the training ground, Goku created a perfect sphere of energy that contained a miniature galaxy within it. As Whis instructed, he carefully manipulated its laws, changing the orbital patterns of its stars, accelerating time within the sphere, then reversing it. Control improves daily, Beerus observed, watching from a nearby tree branch. But raw ability isn't enough. He lacks perspective. He is still very young, Whis reminded him. Young in years, perhaps. But that power within him is ancient. Beerus's tail twitched thoughtfully. He needs to understand what's at stake. Theory and practice are not the same. What do you propose, my lord? Beerus smiled. I think it's time our student experienced some practical application. The next morning, Beerus gathered everyone in the main courtyard. We're taking a field trip, he announced. To where? Goku asked eagerly. Universe 6, Beerus replied. My brother Kampa is hosting a multi-universal martial arts tournament. Representatives from several universes will be competing. A tournament? Goku's eyes lit up. With strong fighters. Some of the strongest in existence, Whis confirmed. Though strength comes in many forms. Will I get to fight? Goku asked. That's the plan, Beerus nodded. Consider it a practical exam. What about me? Vegeta demanded. You too, if you wish, Beerus shrugged. Though I warn you, the competition will be beyond anything you've faced before. Perfect, Vegeta smirked. I thrive on challenge. Bulma raised her hand. Do you need a non-combatant scientist for this trip? Actually, yes, Whis answered. Your analytical perspective could be valuable. And tournaments always need spectators. They gathered their essentials, Bulma's definition of essential still requiring a capsule case full of equipment, and assembled for departure. One important rule, Beerus said sternly. No one mentions Goku's connection to Omni King energy. As far as anyone needs to know, he's simply a uniquely talented scion I've taken an interest in training. Why the secrecy? Goku asked. Because knowledge of your nature would cause panic among certain factions, Whis explained. Or worse, attract the wrong kind of attention. Speaking of attention, Beerus added, keep your power contained, Goku. Use only what you need to win your matches. No reality warping, no dimension hopping, no time manipulation. Stick to physical abilities and basic energy attacks. Got it, Goku nodded. Keep it simple. This should be interesting, Vegeta commented. Kakarot fighting without his special advantages. Oh, he'll still have advantages, Beerus said with a smirk. His base physical abilities are far beyond normal scion potential. A side effect of housing all that cosmic energy. Whis extended his staff. Everyone ready? Universe 6 awaits. The journey between universes was more intense than traveling within one. Goku felt reality itself stretch and compress around them as they passed through dimensional boundaries. Colors he had no words for streaked past his vision. Sensations beyond normal perception tingled across his consciousness. They emerged onto a massive floating platform suspended above a planet that looked similar to Earth but with subtle differences. The arena at the center was surrounded by spectator stands already filling with beings of all shapes, sizes, and colors. Whoa, Goku breathed, taking in the scene. Look at all these different people. Various mortal races from across the universes, Whis explained. Each with their own evolutionary path. Beerus, boomed a voice from across the platform. About time you showed up. A rotund purple cat-like being waddled toward them, followed by a tall, blue-skinned attendant who resembled Whis. Kampa, Beerus acknowledged with barely concealed disdain. Your arena is as tacky as I expected. The two destroyers glared at each other, sparks of energy crackling between them. My lord, Kampa's attendant interrupted smoothly. The other universes are arriving. Kampa broke the staring contest reluctantly. Fine. We'll settle this through our fighters, Beerus. Indeed we will, Beerus replied, a smug smile playing at his lips. Allow me to introduce my team. Vegeta, Prince of Scions. And Goku, also a Scion. Kampa eyed them dismissively. Scions? How boring. Universe 6 has those too. As if on cue, a slender Scion with a serious expression approached from behind Kampa. This is Kaba, Universe 6's Scion representative, Kampa's attendant introduced. Captain of the Defense Force of Planet Sadala. Planet Sadala? Vegeta repeated, shocked. That's impossible. Sadala was destroyed centuries ago. In your universe, perhaps, Kaba replied. In Universe 6, Scions evolved as protectors rather than conquerors. The concept clearly disturbed Vegeta. A universe where Scions are peacekeepers. Parallel evolution with different circumstances, Whis explained. Fascinating, isn't it? More teams arrived as they spoke, beings of extraordinary diversity and power. Goku sensed their energy with growing excitement. Some felt similar to ki he was familiar with, while others radiated completely foreign energy signatures. "This is gonna be awesome," he exclaimed. A small, rotund alien in official-looking robes approached. "The tournament will begin shortly. All fighters please register at the main pavilion." As they moved toward registration, Bulma nudged Goku. "Remember what Beerus said. Keep it simple." "I will," Goku assured her. "Just good old-fashioned fighting." After registration, the fighters were directed to a waiting area while officials prepared the arena. Goku and Vegeta found themselves surrounded by combatants from across the multiverse, each eyeing the competition. A tall, muscular green humanoid approached them. "You're the fighters from Universe 7, he asked in a deep voice. "That's right," Goku replied cheerfully. "I'm Goku, and this is Vegeta." The being introduced himself with a curt nod. Universe 6. Something about Hit's energy signature made Goku take notice. It wasn't just powerful, it was unusual, flowing in patterns that suggested manipulation of time itself. "You're a time skipper," Goku realized aloud. Hit's eyes narrowed. "How would you know that?" Goku backpedaled, remembering Beerus's warning about revealing too much. "Just a guess. Your energy feels jumpy." Hit studied him for a moment longer, then walked away without another word. "Smooth," Vegeta muttered sarcastically. "Why not just announce all your observations to everyone?" "Sorry," Goku rubbed the back of his neck. "I got excited." A bell sounded, calling all fighters to the main arena. The enormous crowd roared as competitors filed onto the central platform. "Welcome," boomed an announcer's voice, "to the first multi-universal martial arts tournament." The cheering intensified. Fighters from 6 universes will compete in one-on-one matches. Victory goes to those who knock their opponent out of the ring, render them unable to continue, or force submission. Killing is strictly forbidden and will result in disqualification. Screens around the arena displayed the tournament bracket. Goku would face a warrior from Universe 10 in the first round. Vegeta was matched against a Universe 11 fighter. "Good luck," Goku told Vegeta as they returned to the waiting area. "I hope we end up facing each other." "When we face each other," Vegeta corrected, "I'll show you that determined training can overcome even divine advantage." Goku grinned. "I'm looking forward to it." The first matches began, showcasing powers and techniques unlike anything Goku had seen before. A warrior who could multiply himself fought against a being who manipulated sound waves as weapons. A creature that turned its body to liquid battled a fighter who controlled magnetism. Finally, Goku's name was called. He bounded into the arena, facing a hulking gray-skinned alien with 4 arms. "Begin," the announcer shouted. The alien moved with surprising speed for its size, all 4 arms launching attacks simultaneously. Goku dodged effortlessly, weaving between the blows as if they were coming in slow motion. "Stand still," his opponent growled, increasing the tempo of his assault. Goku continued evading, studying his opponent's style. "You're pretty good. But you telegraph your moves too much." To demonstrate, he finally threw a counterpunch, just one, that connected precisely with his opponent's center mass. The impact lifted the 4-armed fighter off his feet and sent him flying out of the ring. The crowd went silent, then erupted in cheers. "Winner by ring out, Goku of Universe 7, the announcer declared. As Goku walked back to the waiting area, he noticed several competitors watching him with newfound wariness. Vegeta's match was equally decisive. The Prince of Science demolished his opponent with a combination of precision strikes that demonstrated centuries of combat experience. The tournament progressed rapidly, the field narrowing with each round. Goku advanced easily, careful to use only physical abilities and basic ki manipulation. Vegeta likewise dominated his brackets. In the semi-finals, Goku faced Hit from Universe 6. The time skipper proved to be his first real challenge. "Your reputation precedes you," Hit said as they squared off. "But reputation means nothing to me. I'm just here to have fun and test myself," Goku replied honestly. Hit's response was to vanish. One moment he was there, the next gone, not moving quickly, but stepping outside the normal flow of time itself. Goku felt the distortion in reality and reacted instinctively. As Hit's strike approached from what should have been an impossible angle, Goku caught his fist. Hit's usually impassive face showed genuine surprise. "You, countered time skip? Is that what it's called?" Goku grinned. "Cool technique." The remainder of their match was spectacular, with Hit repeatedly manipulating time and Goku countering through his innate sense of reality's fabric. The crowd watched in awe as the fighters moved with blinding speed, appearing and disappearing across the arena. Finally, Goku spotted a pattern in Hit's movements. The time skipper could only advance time in very specific increments. Once Goku understood the rhythm, he timed his counter perfectly, landing a solid blow that sent Hit tumbling toward the arena's edge. The assassin caught himself just in time, then straightened, studying Goku with new respect. "You're holding back," Hit observed. "So are you," Goku countered with a smile. A rare smile crossed Hit's face. "Perhaps another time, we can fight without restraints." With that, he stepped back and raised his hand. "I forfeit." Gasps echoed through the arena. Hit of Universe 6 has forfeited. Goku advances to the finals, the announcer declared. As Goku returned to the waiting area, Beerus intercepted him. "What did you say to him?" "Nothing much," Goku shrugged. "I think he just realized I was countering his time skip and decided to save his best techniques for another day." Beerus looked suspicious. "You're not using any reality manipulation, are you?" "Nope. Just reflexes and energy sensing, like you said." Vegeta won his semi-final match through sheer determination and tactical brilliance, setting up a final between the two Scions from Universe 7. "This is perfect," Beerus purred. "My fighters in the final guarantees Universe 7's victory." Kampa was less pleased. "Luck. Nothing but luck." As Goku and Vegeta prepared to enter the arena for their final match, Whis pulled them aside. "Something's wrong," he whispered. "There's an energy signature I don't recognize watching from the shadows. Be alert." Goku nodded, suddenly serious. "I've felt it too. Like someone's been watching me specifically." "Just focus on your match," Whis advised. "Lord Beerus and I will investigate." The final began with spectacular intensity. Vegeta, determined to prove himself against Goku's natural advantages, fought with everything he had, transforming into his most powerful state, a form he called Super Saiyan. "I achieved this through training and pain," Vegeta declared, his hair now golden and standing upright, his body surrounded by brilliant yellow energy. "Not through some cosmic accident of birth." Goku was impressed. "That's amazing, Vegeta. The energy output is incredible. Stop analyzing and start fighting." Vegeta charged, launching a barrage of attacks that would have obliterated any ordinary opponent. Goku matched him blow for blow, his body instinctively channeling just enough energy to keep pace without revealing his true potential. The arena cracked beneath them as shock waves from their clashes rippled outward. "Is this all you've got, Kakarot?" Vegeta taunted, landing a solid punch to Goku's jaw. "Where's that godly power now?" Goku wiped blood from his lip, smiling. "I'm having too much fun fighting like this." Their battle intensified, rising to heights that had the crowd on their feet. Bulma watched from the stands, her instruments recording energy readings that broke all her previous scales. "They're going to destroy the arena at this rate," she muttered, adjusting her equipment. In the shadows beneath the stands, a hooded figure observed with keen interest. Its form seemed to shift and waver, as if not entirely solid. As the battle reached its crescendo, it raised a hand, and dark energy gathered in its palm. Back in the arena, Goku and Vegeta hovered above the shattered platform, both breathing heavily. One final attack, Vegeta declared, gathering blue energy between his hands. All or nothing. Goku nodded, cupping his hands at his side. Sounds good to me. As they prepared their final techniques, Goku suddenly sensed a disturbance, dark energy gathering, aimed not at the fighters but at the spectator stands where Bulma sat. Vegeta, wait, he shouted, but it was too late. Both fighters had committed to their attacks. In that split second, Goku made a decision. He released his attack toward Vegeta as planned, but simultaneously reached out with his consciousness, creating an invisible barrier around the spectator section. The hooded figure's attack, a lance of pure darkness that seemed to consume light itself, struck Goku's barrier and dissipated. At the same moment, Vegeta's energy blast collided with Goku's, creating a massive explosion that engulfed both fighters. When the light faded, Vegeta stood at the edge of what remained of the arena, panting heavily. Goku had been knocked out of bounds, his body creating a crater in the ground below. Winner by ring out, Vegeta of Universe 7, the announcer declared. The crowd erupted in cheers, unaware of the attack that had been thwarted. Vegeta stared down at Goku, confusion evident on his face. You diverted your energy at the last second. Why? Goku climbed from the crater, brushing dust from his clothes. Someone tried to attack the stands. I had to block it. Vegeta's eyes widened, then narrowed dangerously. Where? Before Goku could answer, chaos erupted throughout the arena. Dark fissures appeared in the air, tears in reality itself, and from them emerged shadowy figures with glowing eyes. The barriers are breaching. Whis shouted, his usual calm demeanor shattered. Void agents. Beerus and Kampa moved with unprecedented cooperation, firing destruction energy at the invaders. The other gods of destruction present joined in, creating a defensive perimeter around the arena. Goku. Bulma's voice cut through the chaos. They're after you. She was right. The void creatures ignored the panicking spectators, converging instead on Goku's position. Stay back. Goku warned Vegeta. I need to handle this. Like hell, Vegeta snarled, taking a fighting stance beside him. I just beat you fair and square. I'm not letting some void monsters take my victory lap. Despite the grave situation, Goku grinned. Thanks, Vegeta. The first wave of void creatures attacked. They moved like liquid shadow, their forms constantly shifting, making them difficult targets. Conventional ki blasts passed through them with minimal effect. Physical attacks don't work well. Goku called out after his punch passed through one creature. We need energy that affects reality itself. Like destruction energy, Vegeta realized, glancing toward Beerus, who was systematically erasing void creatures with purple energy. Or like this, Goku said quietly. Closing his eyes briefly, he allowed his restraint to slip just enough. White-blue energy surrounded him, and his eyes took on their characteristic glow. When he swept his hand through the air, it left trails of light that solidified into barriers, cutting off the void creatures from the rest of the arena. What are you doing? Vegeta demanded. Containing the problem. Goku's voice had taken on that resonant quality. Get everyone to safety. I'll handle this. Showing your true colors at last, Vessel, hissed a voice that seemed to come from all the void creatures simultaneously. Goku turned to face the largest concentration of shadows. Who are you? What do you want? We are the forgotten, the voice replied. The erased. The denied. And you, Vessel, are the key to our return. The shadows coalesced into a more solid form, a tall, humanoid figure with features that seemed to shift and change constantly. The Supreme Void sends its regards, the figure said. And an invitation. Join us willingly, and the transition will be painless. Resist, and we will take what we need by force. Not interested, Goku replied firmly. Go back to wherever you came from. The figure laughed, a sound like reality tearing. We come from nowhere and everywhere. The spaces between existence. The potential that was denied when Zeno chose form over void. It stretched out a hand toward Goku. But you could change that. With your power, with Zeno's essence, the barriers could be permanently weakened. All possibilities could exist simultaneously. No more rules. No more limitations. For a brief moment, Goku felt a pull toward the void creature's words. The freedom of no limitations, no boundaries. Don't listen to it, Kakarot. Vegeta's voice broke through his thoughts. It's trying to corrupt you. The void figure turned its shifting gaze to Vegeta. The prince speaks of corruption, yet he does not understand. We offer liberation. You offer destruction, Beerus countered, appearing beside Goku. The erasure of everything. Merely transformation, the figure corrected. From defined existence to infinite potential. Enough talk, Goku said, his resolve firming. You threatened innocent people. You're not welcome here. The white-blue energy around him intensified, expanding outward in concentric rings. Where it touched the void creatures, they hissed and recoiled. This isn't over, vessel, the main figure warned as it began to dissolve. The supreme void has waited since before time. It can wait a while longer. Wait for what? Goku demanded. The figure's face split in what might have been a smile. For you to understand the burden you carry. For you to seek liberation from it. You will come to us eventually. All vessels crack under pressure. With those ominous words, the void creatures retreated through their fissures, which sealed behind them. As the immediate threat passed, Goku let his energy subside. He felt suddenly exhausted, dropping to one knee. Are you alright? Bulma asked, rushing to his side. Just tired, he assured her. Using that energy takes a lot out of me still. The gods and angels converged around them, faces grave. This changes things, the Grand Minister said, having arrived during the chaos. The void creatures have never been so bold as to attack in the open, with multiple destroyers present. They're growing desperate, Whis observed. Or confident. Neither is reassuring. We need to accelerate his training, Beerus declared, nodding toward Goku. If they're targeting him directly, time is shorter than we thought. The Grand Minister nodded solemnly. Agreed. But not here. Too many have witnessed his power already. Questions will be asked. We return to my realm immediately, Beerus decided. Vegeta, you've earned your place on this team. Your assistance today was, not entirely useless. Coming from Beerus, this was high praise indeed. What about the tournament? Goku asked. We didn't finish properly. Universe 7 is declared the winner, the Grand Minister announced. The other destroyers have agreed under the circumstances. Kampa looked like he wanted to protest but thought better of it after glancing at the destruction around them. There will be time for competitions later, Whis said gently. If we succeed in our task. As they prepared to depart, Goku noticed Hit watching him from across the damaged arena. The assassin gave him a respectful nod, which Goku returned. Someday, perhaps, they would have a proper match. Ready? Whis asked, extending his staff. Goku placed his hand on it, along with Vegeta, Bulma, and Beerus. What exactly did that void creature mean? Bulma asked as they prepared to leave. About you seeking liberation from your burden? I don't know, Goku admitted. But I think we're going to find out. Back on Beerus's world, training intensified to levels that would have killed an ordinary being. Goku's days were filled with increasingly complex exercises in power control, reality manipulation, and cosmic awareness. You must understand the boundaries before you can maintain them, Whis instructed during one particularly grueling session. Feel the edges where reality meets void. Goku, suspended in a meditative state between dimensions, extended his consciousness outward. The multiverse spread before his awareness, 12 distinct universes, each with its own laws and patterns, all separated by boundaries of pure energy. And beyond those boundaries, nothingness. A vast, hungry nothingness that pressed against the edges of reality, seeking entry. I can feel it, Goku reported, his physical body glowing with energy while his mind traversed cosmic distances. It's like the multiverse is an island in an endless ocean of nothing. Yes, Whis confirmed. That ocean is the supreme void. And the shores of our island are eroding. Goku extended his awareness further, following the boundaries to where they were weakest. To his surprise, these weak points corresponded to places he had been: Mount Paozu, the desert where he'd met Vegeta, the tournament arena. The weaknesses follow me, he realized aloud. My presence thins the barriers. Now you understand the paradox, Beerus said, observing from nearby. Your power can reinforce the barriers, but your very existence weakens them. Then what's the solution? Goku asked, returning fully to his physical form. Beerus and Whis exchanged glances. There are possibilities, Whis said carefully. But each comes with significant risks. I need to know all the options, Goku insisted. Very well, Whis sighed. Option 1, you learn perfect control, using your power to constantly reinforce the barriers you naturally weaken. This would require permanent vigilance. Exhausting, but doable, Goku nodded. What's option 2? You return the power to its source, Beerus said bluntly. Find a way to transfer Zeno's essence back to Zeno himself. Is that possible? Theoretically, Whis replied. But dangerous. The process could destroy you, and possibly damage Zeno as well. And option 3? Goku pressed, sensing their hesitation. Another uncomfortable glance between God and Angel. You embrace the power fully, Beerus finally said. Become what you were perhaps meant to be, a new Omni King. Goku blinked. You think that's why this happened? That I'm supposed to replace Zeno? It's one theory, Whis acknowledged. There are those who believe Zeno intentionally created you as his successor. But why would he do that? Perspective, Beerus suggested. Zeno has existed since before time. He has never known mortal life, mortal struggles. Perhaps he recognized a need for someone who understood both mortal and divine realities. Goku shook his head. This is way too complicated for me. Which is precisely why you might be the perfect choice, Whis said with a small smile. You approach problems directly, without the baggage of eons of cosmic politics. Before Goku could respond, Bulma burst into the training area, waving a device frantically. We've got trouble, she announced. Big trouble. What is it? Goku asked, immediately alert. I've been monitoring Earth remotely using satellites I launched before we left, she explained breathlessly. Something's happening at Mount Paozu. Energy readings are off the charts, and they match the void signatures from the tournament. Goku's expression hardened. They're at my home. Why? The dragon. Balls, Vegeta suggested, entering behind Bulma. You said there was one more left to find. Perhaps they believe it contains clues to your power. Or they're setting a trap, Beerus growled. Using your attachment to that place to lure you in. Trap or not, I can't let them destroy my home, Goku said firmly. Too many innocent people would be hurt. Then we go together, Vegeta declared. A coordinated approach. Goku looked at him in surprise. You want to help protect Earth? Vegeta crossed his arms defensively. I want to fight void creatures. Location is irrelevant. Right, Goku grinned, not believing him for a second. Well, I appreciate the backup. This is reckless, Beerus protested. You're playing directly into their hands. Got any better ideas? Bulma challenged. Because my planet is under attack right now. Beerus sighed dramatically. Fine. But Whis and I are coming too. If the Supreme Void is making its move, we need all hands on deck. I'm coming as well, Bulma insisted. My equipment might help track the Void entry points. A proper expedition, then, Whis said with a hint of excitement. How thrilling. As they prepared for departure, Goku took a moment alone, staring out at the strange twilight sky of Beerus's world. 3 months had passed since they arrived, 3 months of intense training that had expanded his understanding of his powers exponentially. Was he ready to face whatever awaited on Earth? He wasn't sure. But he knew he couldn't hide forever. Thinking deep thoughts. Bulma asked, joining him. Trying to, Goku admitted with a smile. Not really my strong point. You've changed, she observed. Still Goku, but, more. I feel different, he agreed. Like I'm more connected to everything. Sometimes I forget where I end and the rest of reality begins. Sounds lonely, Bulma said softly. Goku looked surprised. I never thought about it that way. But yeah, I guess it is, sometimes. That's why you need people around you who see you as Goku, not as some cosmic power source, she said, bumping his shoulder with hers. To keep you grounded. Is that what you've been doing? He asked, smiling at her. Someone has to, she replied with a playful smirk. Gods and angels are too caught up in the big picture. They forget that even universe-sized powers need friends. Goku's smile widened. Thanks, Bulma. Don't mention it, she said, then more seriously, just promise me something. What's that? Don't lose yourself out there. Whatever happens, stay Goku. He nodded solemnly. I promise. Good, she squeezed his arm. Now let's go save Earth. Again. They arrived on Mount Paozu to find the forest eerily still. No birds sang. No insects buzzed. The vibrant ecosystem Goku had grown up in felt lifeless. Something's wrong, he said immediately. The forest is never this quiet. Void influence, Whis confirmed, tapping his staff on the ground. It suppresses life energy. Bulma activated her scanning equipment. The strongest readings are coming from that direction. She pointed toward where Goku's small house stood. My home, Goku said grimly. Let's go. They moved through the silent forest with caution. Beerus and Whis took the lead, their divine senses alert for traps. Vegeta flanked their right while Goku protected their left, with Bulma in the protected center. As they approached the clearing where Goku's house stood, the air grew increasingly thick and distorted, like looking through dirty glass. Reality is thin here, Whis observed. The boundary between our dimension and the void barely exists. The house came into view, but something was wrong. It seemed to phase in and out of existence, sometimes appearing normal, other times transparent or bizarrely distorted. What's happening to it? Goku asked. It exists in multiple states simultaneously, Whis explained. A symptom of void contamination. In front of the house stood a figure, the same shifting entity they had faced at the tournament, but more substantial now, more defined. Welcome home, vessel, it called, its voice echoing strangely. We've been expecting you. What have you done to this place? Goku demanded. Merely prepared it, the figure replied. This location holds significance to you. Emotional attachment. It's where your journey began. Get to the point, Beerus growled. What do you want? The figure's attention shifted to the god of destruction. Always so impatient, destroyer. We want what we have always wanted, balance restored. You call this balance? Bulma gestured to the distorted surroundings. You're destroying everything. Transformation requires destruction, the figure countered. The supreme void was the original state of existence. Then came Zeno, imposing artificial order, creating artificial boundaries. It turned back to Goku. But you, vessel, you understand liminality. Neither fully God nor fully mortal. You exist between states, just as we do. I'm nothing like you, Goku said firmly. Are you not? The figure waved a hand, and the space behind it rippled. A new figure stepped through the distortion, an exact duplicate of Goku, but with glowing white eyes and an aura of cosmic energy. What the hell? Vegeta muttered. Meet yourself, the void creature said. The self you're afraid to become. The duplicate smiled with Goku's face but none of his warmth. Hello, Goku. I'm what awaits you when you finally accept your nature. Don't listen to it, Beerus warned. This is void manipulation, playing on your fears. Is it? The duplicate challenged. Or is it simply truth? I am Goku who embraced godhood fully. I am what you will become. Goku studied his doppelganger carefully. If you're really a version of me, then you know I'd never help destroy innocent people. Innocence is a limited perspective, the duplicate replied. From the cosmic scale, all mortals are temporary. Their individual lives mean nothing compared to universal balance. That doesn't sound like me at all, Goku said with growing certainty. Because you cling to your mortal attachments, the duplicate said dismissively. But in time, as your power grows, you'll see beyond such limitations. No, Goku shook his head. That's not what power is for. It's not about being above everyone else, it's about protecting those who can't protect themselves. The void creature laughed. Such charming naivety. Perhaps we need a more persuasive approach. It gestured again, and the distortion widened. Through it came more figures, void-twisted versions of people Goku knew. Grandpa Gohan with empty eye sockets. Bulma with skin like cracked porcelain. Vegeta consumed by shadow. This is what awaits them if you continue to resist, the creature warned. The void comes regardless. Your only choice is whether to guide the transition or be consumed by it. Goku's patience snapped. Energy surged around him as his eyes blazed with white-blue light. Enough. Leave my friends out of this. Careful, Goku, Whis cautioned. Your energy accelerates the barrier deterioration. But Goku was beyond caution now. Seeing the twisted versions of people he cared about had ignited something primal within him, a protective instinct that transcended both his human upbringing and his cosmic power. I'm ending this, he declared, power radiating from him in waves. Now. He thrust his hands forward, sending a focused beam of energy directly at the void creature and its manifestations. Instead of destroying them, however, the energy was absorbed, drawn into the distortion behind them. Yes, the void creature exulted. Your power is the key. The distortion widened dramatically, expanding until it encompassed the entire clearing. Through it, Goku could see what appeared to be the supreme void itself, not merely darkness, but an absence so complete it hurt to look at. And within that absence, something moved. Something vast and ancient and patient. The supreme void awakens, the creature announced triumphantly. And it hungers for your essence, vessel. Tentacles of pure nothingness extended from the portal, reaching toward Goku. Where they touched the ground, reality simply ceased to exist, not destroyed, but erased as if it had never been. Fall back. Beerus ordered. That's pure void energy. Even destruction gods can't touch it directly. Bulma grabbed Goku's arm. We need to retreat. Regroup. But Goku stood his ground, staring into the portal with an expression of dawning comprehension. It's afraid, he said softly. What? Vegeta looked at him like he'd lost his mind. The supreme void, Goku clarified. It's afraid of me. That's why it's trying so hard to either control me or consume me. The void creature's shifting face contorted. The void fears nothing. It is eternal. It is inevitable. If it was inevitable, Goku countered, it wouldn't need me at all. It could just wait. Understanding dawned on Whis' face. Of course. The power within you isn't just Omni King energy, it's specifically creation energy. The power that established the multiverse barriers in the first place. Which means I don't need to run from it, Goku said, his confidence growing. I can fix what's been damaged. Impossible, the void creature snarled. The degradation has progressed too far. But Goku wasn't listening anymore. He closed his eyes, reaching deep within himself to the wellspring of power he'd been learning to access under Whis' guidance. Not fighting it this time, not constraining it, but embracing it fully. The white-blue energy erupted around him, not in the violent surge of his previous manifestations but in smooth, controlled waves. His body lifted from the ground as reality itself began to respond to his will. Everyone stay close to me, he instructed, his voice resonating with harmonics that vibrated at the quantum level. Bulma, Vegeta, Beerus, and Whis moved to surround him as the void tentacles approached from all directions. What are you doing? Bulma asked, her scientific mind struggling to process the energy readings from her devices. Remembering, Goku replied simply. With that single word, his consciousness expanded exponentially. The knowledge that had been dormant within him, knowledge of creation itself, of how reality was structured, of the original establishment of the barriers, flooded through his awareness. He raised his hands, and pure creation energy flowed outward in a perfect sphere, surrounding him and his companions. Where it met the void tentacles, they dissolved, not destroyed but simply denied existence in the sphere of created reality. No, the void creature howled, its form destabilizing. The supreme void will not be denied again. I'm not denying it, Goku said, his voice calm despite the enormous energies he was channeling. I'm restoring balance. The sphere of creation energy expanded further, pushing back the void influence, reconstructing the damaged reality of Mount Paozu. Trees regained their solidity. Animals reappeared, no longer suppressed by void energy. The natural order reasserted itself. Finally, the sphere reached the portal itself. The void creature made one last desperate lunge toward Goku, but Vegeta intercepted it, blasting it with a concentrated energy attack that dissolved its partially physical form. That's for the tournament interruption, the Saiyan Prince growled. Goku approached the portal, creation energy swirling around his outstretched hands. Inside, the vast presence in the void retreated, unwilling to face this fully awakened power directly. I understand now, Goku said, addressing the presence beyond the portal. This isn't about destruction or creation winning. It's about balance. He pressed his palms against the edges of the portal, and reality began to knit itself back together. The tear mended under his touch, shrinking gradually until only a pinprick remained. Through that final opening, a voice, ancient and vast, spoke directly into Goku's mind. This is not over, vessel. You have remembered your purpose, but you have not fulfilled it. The final convergence approaches. When it comes, you will make a choice that will reshape existence itself. I'll be ready, Goku promised. The portal closed completely, the last traces of void influence vanishing from Mount Paozu. Goku remained suspended in the air for a moment longer, his body glowing with cosmic energy, before gradually descending to the ground. As his feet touched the earth, the glow receded, and he collapsed to his knees, exhausted. Goku. Bulma rushed to his side. Are you okay? He nodded weakly. Just tired. That was intense. Impressive, Beerus acknowledged, surveying the restored landscape. You didn't just push the void back, you reinforced the local barriers. They're stronger now than they were before. How did you know what to do? Whis asked, curiosity evident in his voice. I didn't, exactly, Goku admitted. When I said I was remembering, it was like knowledge that was always there suddenly became available. Not my knowledge, Zeno's knowledge. The vessel accessing the source, Whis murmured. Fascinating. Vegeta approached, arms crossed. So now what? The void creatures retreated for now, but they'll be back. They will, Goku agreed, climbing to his feet with Bulma's help. The voice said something about a final convergence coming. Convergence? Whis repeated, alarm crossing his features. Are you certain that was the word? Goku nodded. Why? What does it mean? Whis and Beerus exchanged grave looks. The convergence is a theoretical cosmic event, Whis explained. A point where all universes align perfectly, where the barriers between them become naturally thin. Like a multiversal eclipse, Bulma suggested. Precisely, Whis nodded. During such an event, the barriers would be at their most vulnerable. If the Supreme Void were to attack then, it could potentially breach into all 12 universes simultaneously, Beerus finished. Total multiversal collapse. How often does this convergence happen? Goku asked. It's never happened before, Whis replied. It's been theorized but considered impossible under normal circumstances. But circumstances aren't normal anymore, Vegeta pointed out. Not with Omni King energy operating independently. An uncomfortable silence fell as they processed the implications. When? Bulma finally asked. How long until this convergence? Whis closed his eyes, calculating temporal probabilities. Difficult to say precisely, but based on current universal alignment patterns, perhaps 3 months. 3 months, Goku repeated. To prepare for something that's never happened before, against an enemy that exists outside reality itself. Pretty much, Beerus confirmed. To everyone's surprise, Goku smiled. Well, I've never been very good at studying, but I'm a quick learner when it comes to practical stuff. Let's make the most of the time we have. His simple determination lightened the mood slightly. First, Bulma said, we need to warn Earth's defenders. If void incursions are happening here, they might appear elsewhere too. Agreed, Beerus nodded. A coordinated defense across all universes will be necessary. I'll contact the other destroyers. And I need more training, Goku added. What I did today was mostly instinct. I need to understand it properly if I'm going to face the Supreme Void directly. We'll return to my world immediately, Beerus decided. Time passes differently there, we can maximize your training period. As they prepared to leave, Goku took a moment to look at his small house, now restored to normal. It seemed so humble compared to the cosmic scale of their conflict, yet it represented everything he was fighting for: home, connection, the simple joy of existence. I'll come back, he promised softly. Ready? Whis called, extending his staff. As they gathered around the angel, Goku felt Bulma's hand slip into his. He glanced down at her, surprised. Just making sure you don't get lost in all that cosmic stuff, she explained with a small smile. Staying Goku, remember? He squeezed her hand gratefully. I remember. In a flash of light, they vanished, leaving Mount Paozu peaceful once more. But throughout the multiverse, the countdown to convergence had begun. Chapter 3, Transcendence. Time flowed differently on Beerus's world. 3 weeks there equaled just 1 day on Earth. With the convergence approaching, Goku trained with renewed purpose, pushing his limits in ways that would have seemed impossible months earlier. Again, Whis instructed, circling Goku as he hovered cross-legged above the training ground. Focus on the fabric, not the tear. Sweat beaded on Goku's forehead. Before him floated a small tear in reality, a controlled simulation Whis had created for practice. Goku extended his hands, cosmic energy flowing from his fingertips as he attempted to repair the damage without destabilizing the surrounding spacetime. Remember, Whis continued, creation isn't about force. It's about pattern recognition. Feel the original design, then restore it. Goku exhaled slowly, his consciousness expanding to perceive the underlying structure of reality. The tear wasn't just a hole, it was a disruption in an intricate pattern, like a dropped stitch in cosmic knitting. Once he visualized it this way, the solution became clear. His energy shifted from raw power to precise manipulation. The edges of the tier began to reconnect, reality knitting itself back together under his guidance. Good, Whis nodded approvingly. Much more efficient than last time. Nearby, Vegeta observed while performing his own training, a series of high-gravity combat drills against Beerus's automated sparring drones. Though he couldn't match Goku's cosmic abilities, the Saiyan Prince had found his own role in their preparations. His tactical mind and combat experience proved invaluable for developing defense strategies. How long can you maintain the repair? Beerus called from his floating chair, where he supervised while snacking on earth treats Bulma had provided. Goku held the mended reality together, his energy forming an invisible lattice that strengthened the repair. About 3 minutes now, he replied, voice strained with concentration. Not enough, Beerus frowned. During the convergence, you'll need to maintain multiple repairs simultaneously for extended periods. I know, Goku sighed as he released the energy, letting Whis' simulation dissipate. But I'm getting stronger every day. Bulma approached, carrying a tablet displaying complex calculations. According to my latest models, the convergence will create approximately 12 major fracture points, 1 per universe. If we position defenders at each point, Goku can focus on reinforcing the central nexus where the Supreme Void will most likely attempt its primary breach. 12 points, 12 destroyers, Beerus mused. Symmetrical, at least. The destroyers alone won't be enough, Vegeta said, joining the conversation after dispatching the last drone. From what we've seen, destruction energy slows the void creatures but doesn't eliminate them permanently. Which is why we're training fighters from multiple universes, Whis reminded him. Hit from Universe 6 has already agreed to assist. Several others will arrive tomorrow for coordinated exercises. Goku stretched, rolling his shoulders to release the tension. I'm starving. Can we break for lunch? Bulma rolled her eyes. Cosmic power of creation, appetite of a teenager. Balance in all things, Whis chuckled. As they headed toward the dining area, Goku fell into step beside Bulma. How's that thing you've been working on? The void detector. Bulma brightened. Almost finished. It can now identify void energy signatures with 98% accuracy and predict breach points up to 30 seconds in advance. That could make all the difference, Goku said admiringly. Science and cosmic power, working together, she replied with a proud smile. Though I've had to invent entirely new mathematics to explain what you do. My father thinks I've gone mad. Speaking of Earth, Vegeta interjected, when are we going to brief its defenders? The planet remains vulnerable. I've compiled data packages, Bulma assured him. Whis will deliver them on his next supply run. Earth's military and the world government will have protocols in place within the week. Will it be enough? Goku wondered aloud. It has to be, Beerus said, his usual dismissive tone replaced with something almost like concern. Earth has proven remarkably resilient in the past. The unspoken truth hung between them, if they failed to contain the Supreme Void during convergence, no amount of preparation would save Earth or any other world. Over the following weeks, Beerus's realm transformed into a multiversal command center. Representatives from all 12 universes arrived to coordinate defenses and train together. The normally peaceful planet buzzed with activity as beings of incredible diversity and power worked toward a common goal. In the main strategy hall, Goku stood before a holographic model of the multiverse that Bulma and Whis had constructed. 12 spheres representing the universes slowly rotated around a central point, gradually drawing closer to alignment. 29 days until convergence, Whis announced to the assembled group. At that point, all 12 universes will align perfectly for approximately 16 minutes. During this window, the barriers between dimensions will naturally thin. Creating the opportunity the Supreme Void has been waiting for, Beerus added grimly. The Grand Minister, who had arrived to personally oversee preparations, stepped forward. Our intelligence suggests void activity has increased across all universes. Probing attacks, testing defenses. They're looking for the path of least resistance, Hit observed from his position against the far wall. Precisely, the Grand Minister nodded. Which is why our strategy must be comprehensive. Bulma activated the next phase of the hologram, showing defender positions at key points throughout the multiverse. Each universe will have 3 layers of defense. Outer perimeter defenders will handle minor void incursions. Inner defenders will protect the universal cores. And the destroyer of each universe will maintain the primary barrier. And Kakarot? Vegeta asked, using Goku's Saiyan name as he still sometimes did. All eyes turned to Goku. I'll be at the convergence point, he said, pointing to the center of the hologram where all universes would ultimately align. When the barriers are thinnest, I'll reinforce them directly. A single point of failure, noted Kompa, Beerus's brother and Universe SXS destroyer. Not necessarily, Whis countered. Goku's abilities have grown exponentially. And he won't be alone. The Grand Minister nodded. I will personally accompany Goku to the convergence point, along with Whis and Lord Beerus. Together, we represent the greatest concentration of creation and destruction energy possible without involving Zeno himself. Speaking of which, Beerus said carefully, has the Omni King expressed any interest in these developments? A subtle tension filled the room. The question everyone had wondered but few dared to ask. The Grand Minister's expression remained unreadable. Zeno observes. As always. The cryptic answer did little to ease concerns, but no one pressed further. Challenging the Grand Minister's discretion would be unwise. Let's continue with the tactical review, Bulma suggested, breaking the uncomfortable silence. As the meeting progressed, Goku found his attention drifting. The strategic discussions, while necessary, felt removed from his instinctual approach to challenges. He understood his role, but the methodical planning didn't engage him the way direct action did. His gaze wandered to the window, where the strange twilight of Beerus's world cast everything in perpetual dusk. Beyond the glass, something caught his eye, a subtle distortion in the air, like heat waves rising from hot pavement. But this was no heat mirage. Without drawing attention, Goku slipped away from the meeting and stepped outside. The distortion hovered near the edge of the training grounds, pulsing gently. I know you're there, Goku said quietly. You might as well show yourself. The air rippled, and a figure emerged, not a void creature this time, but something different. It appeared as a child, small and innocent with pale skin and blank white eyes. Hello, Vessel, the child said, its voice oddly adult. Goku maintained his distance, sensing something ancient behind the childlike facade. You're not from the void. Very perceptive, the child smiled. I am, an observer. For who? For whom, you mean, the child corrected with a smirk. Grammar is important, even in cosmic matters. Fine, Goku crossed his arms. For whom, then? The child circled Goku slowly, examining him with those empty white eyes. I serve the balance. Neither creation nor void, but the tension between them. What do you want? To offer perspective, the child replied. Your allies prepare for war, but they misunderstand the nature of the convergence. Despite his wariness, Goku's curiosity was piqued. How so? The convergence is not a random cosmic event, the child explained. It is a reset point, a moment when all possibilities exist simultaneously, when choices determine the nature of reality moving forward. What kind of choices? The child stopped circling and looked directly at Goku. Your choice, specifically. The vessel must decide whether the experiment continues. Experiment? Goku frowned. What experiment? This, the child gestured expansively. All of this. The multiverse. Separate universes with separate rules. The isolation of creation from void. The divine hierarchy. You're saying someone designed all this as an experiment? Of course, the child said, as if it were obvious. And you are both subject and observer. Vessel and catalyst. Goku shook his head, frustrated. Stop talking in riddles. Say what you mean. The child sighed. Very well. Direct approach for the direct mind. Zeno, the being you call Omni King, placed a portion of his essence within a mortal form to experience creation from within, rather than observing from without. That mortal form is you. I've heard that theory before, Goku said cautiously. But you haven't heard why, the child countered. Zeno recognized a flaw in the design, a stagnation. Immortal perspective lacks growth. The void presses against the barriers not because it seeks destruction, but because the current paradigm is reaching its natural conclusion. So what am I supposed to do about it? At convergence, you will have a choice, the child said. Reinforce the existing paradigm, or allow transformation into something new. Neither choice is inherently right or wrong, they are simply different paths. And if I believe the void will destroy everything? That doesn't sound like a transformation worth allowing. The child's expression grew serious. The supreme void doesn't seek destruction, it seeks integration. The end of artificial separation between creation and non-creation. Whether that integration would improve existence or erase it depends on how it's guided. By me, Goku concluded. By you, the child confirmed. The mortal vessel with divine essence. The bridge between perspectives. Before Goku could ask more questions, the child began to fade. Wait. Goku reached out. Who are you really? The child smiled enigmatically. A voice of balance. Neither angel nor destroyer nor void. Consider my words carefully, Goku. The choice you face is more complex than your allies suggest. With that, the child vanished completely, leaving Goku alone with troubling new thoughts. Goku? Bulma's voice called from behind him. Who were you talking to? He turned to find her watching him with concern. For a moment, he considered sharing the strange encounter, but something held him back. The child's message felt personal, a perspective he needed to process before discussing it. Just thinking out loud, he said instead. The convergence, what it means, what we're really fighting for. Bulma studied him, clearly not entirely convinced. Well, you missed the tactical assignments. You're supposed to begin specialized training with the Grand Minister tomorrow. More training? Goku grinned, pushing his concerns aside temporarily. Sounds good to me. As they walked back toward the compound, Bulma glanced sideways at him. Are you okay? You seem distracted. Just processing everything, he admitted. It's a lot to take in. Tell me about it, she agreed. 3 months ago, I was hunting Dragon Balls for a boyfriend wish. Now I'm coordinating multiversal defense strategies with gods. Her down-to-earth perspective made Goku smile. Whatever cosmic role he might play, Bulma's practical approach kept him anchored to what mattered. By the way, she continued, Vegeta's been asking about you. Really? Goku raised an eyebrow. That doesn't sound like Vegeta. Well, he didn't actually ask about you, Bulma clarified. He demanded to know why you get special training with the Grand Minister while he's stuck practicing with second-rate fighters from inferior universes. Goku laughed. That sounds more like Vegeta. He respects you, you know, Bulma said more seriously. He'd rather die than admit it, but your growth has pushed him to heights he never thought possible. Vegeta's amazing, Goku said sincerely. His power comes from pure determination. Mine was just, there. Don't sell yourself short, Bulma nudged him. Having power and using it wisely are different things. You've earned respect through your choices, not just your abilities. Goku considered this as they rejoined the others, watching as Vegeta argued intensely with Champa about defense positioning. Despite his gruff exterior, the Scion Prince had become an integral part of their team, respected by gods and mortals alike for his tactical insights. Kakarot. Vegeta called when he spotted Goku. Tell this overgrown house cat that positioning destroyer energy at the cardinal points creates vulnerability at the intercardinal boundaries. Goku held up his hands in mock surrender. Hey, I just punch things. The fancy strategy is your department. Useless, Vegeta muttered, but there was no real heat in the insult. Fine, I'll draw diagrams for the simpletons. As preparations continued, Goku found himself increasingly torn between two perspectives. The strategic planning of his allies painted the Supreme Void as an enemy to be defeated at all costs. But the child's words suggested a more nuanced situation, a cosmic transition that might be necessary for growth. Which version was true? And how would he know when the moment of choice arrived? The day before convergence, a strange calm settled over Beerus's world. Preparations were complete. Defenders had taken their positions throughout the multiverse. All that remained was the waiting. Goku sat alone at the edge of a crystal lake, skipping stones across its perfectly still surface. His training with the Grand Minister had been intense but productive. He now understood the mechanics of the convergence point and how to manipulate the cosmic energies that would concentrate there. Technically, he was ready. Emotionally, he remained conflicted. Mind if I join you? Came Vegeta's voice. Goku looked up in surprise. The Scion Prince rarely sought him out for conversation. Sure, he replied, gesturing to the space beside him. Vegeta sat stiffly, his posture formal even in this moment of quiet. For a while, neither spoke, simply watching the ripples spread across the lake's surface. When I first came to Earth, Vegeta finally said, I believed power was everything. The only thing. Goku remained silent, sensing Vegeta needed to speak without interruption. I was a prince without a kingdom, Vegeta continued. A warrior without purpose beyond conflict. I hated you for surpassing me so easily, for having power you didn't earn through suffering as I had. He picked up a stone, examining it before tossing it across the lake with perfect technique. It skipped 7 times before sinking. But these past months have shown me something unexpected, Vegeta admitted. Power without purpose is meaningless. You've always understood that instinctively, while I had to learn it through humiliation. Vegeta, Goku began, but the prince held up a hand. Let me finish. Tomorrow, you face a choice that will affect everything. I don't pretend to understand the cosmic implications fully. But I know this, whatever power flows through you, whatever divine essence you might contain, your core remains that of a warrior who fights for what matters. He turned to look directly at Goku, his expression uncharacteristically open. Trust that core, Kakarot. Not the gods, not the void, not even me. Trust what you know to be right. Goku stared at his rival, genuinely moved by the unexpected vote of confidence. That might be the nicest thing you've ever said to me. Vegeta immediately scowled. It wasn't nice. It was strategic. If you're going to decide the fate of existence, I prefer you do it with a clear head. Right, Goku grinned. Strategic. Don't make me regret this moment of weakness, Vegeta growled, standing abruptly. I expect a proper battle after this convergence nonsense is resolved. No holding back, no cosmic shortcuts. Deal, Goku agreed, his smile widening. And Vegeta? Thanks. The prince gave a curt nod before striding away, his moment of vulnerability carefully locked away once more. As evening fell, Goku sought out Whis, finding the angel stargazing from the highest point on Beerus's world. Beautiful, isn't it? Whis said without turning. Even after billions of years, the cosmos still inspires wonder. That's why we're protecting it, right? Goku asked, joining him at the railing. Indeed, Whis agreed. Though, protecting might be too simple a term for what tomorrow brings. Goku studied the angel's serene profile. Whis, can I ask you something directly? Of course. The child who visited me yesterday, was no child, Whis finished for him, finally turning to meet Goku's surprised gaze. Yes, I knew about your visitor. Very little escapes my notice, especially on Lord Beerus's world. Then you heard what it said? About the convergence being a reset point? Whis nodded slowly. I did. And there is truth in that perspective. So why didn't you tell me? Goku asked, frustration edging into his voice. Why all the talk about defeating the void if this is really about some cosmic choice? Because perspectives matter, Whis replied calmly. The supreme void would indeed consume everything if given unrestricted access. That's not falsehood. But whether that consumption represents destruction or transformation depends on how it's managed. And that's supposedly my job, Goku sighed. It is your potential, Whis corrected. The essence within you connects to Zeno in ways we don't fully understand. That connection gives you unique capabilities at the convergence point. But you've been training me to reinforce the barriers, not, whatever the alternative is. Whis smiled gently. I've been training you to understand the energies involved. How you apply that understanding is ultimately your choice. Goku leaned against the railing, gazing up at the strange stars. I don't know if I'm qualified to make cosmic decisions. I'm just a guy who likes fighting and food. Perhaps that's precisely the qualification needed, Whis suggested. Cosmic entities tend toward stagnation. Fresh perspective has value. That's what the child said too, Goku noted. About immortal perspective lacking growth. Indeed, Whis's expression grew thoughtful. Even angels can become rigid in their thinking after eons of existence. Goku studied him carefully. What do you think I should do? That would be overstepping my role, Whis declined politely. I can inform, but not decide. Not even a hint. Goku pressed. Whis considered for a moment. Let me ask you this, what do you value most about existence as you've experienced it? Goku thought about his life, from his childhood with Grandpa Gohan to his adventures with Bulma, his rivalry with Vegeta, his training with Beerus and Whis. Connection, he said finally. Growing together. Learning from each other. The surprise of meeting someone new who changes how you see things. Then perhaps that's your answer, Whis suggested. As Goku mulled this over, Beerus approached, yawning dramatically. Philosophical discussions the night before battle. How tedious. Just clarifying perspectives, my lord, Whis replied smoothly. Well, clarify quickly and get some rest, Beerus ordered. Tomorrow will test us all. With that, the god of destruction wandered back toward his chambers, muttering about mortals complicating simple matters. Goku chuckled. Some things never change. And some things must, Whis said quietly. That's the nature of existence. With those cryptic words, the angel bowed slightly and departed, leaving Goku alone beneath the stars, facing the most important night's sleep of his life. Convergence Day arrived with strange omens. The skies of every universe took on an opalescent quality as cosmic boundaries began their preliminary alignment. On Earth, scientists reported unprecedented gravitational fluctuations. Animals grew restless. The air itself seemed to thicken with anticipation. On Beerus's world, final preparations moved with practiced precision. Bulma coordinated communications from a command center filled with monitors tracking void activity across the multiverse. Minor breaches detected in universes 3, 7, and 11, she reported as Goku entered. Defenders are responding. Nothing major yet. The Supreme Void is testing defenses, Beerus observed. The real attack will come at peak alignment. The Grand Minister appeared in a flash of light. It's time to move to the convergence point. Goku, are you prepared? Dressed in a special GI that Bulma had designed to channel his energies more efficiently, Goku nodded. As ready as I'll ever be. Vegeta approached, extending his hand in an unprecedented gesture. Don't mess this up, Kakarot. Goku grasped his rival's arm in a warrior's handshake. I'll do my best. Keep Earth safe while I'm gone. Count on it, Vegeta promised. Bulma stepped forward next, surprising Goku with a quick hug. Remember who you are, she whispered. Not just what you can do. I will, he assured her. With final preparations complete, Goku joined the Grand Minister, Whis, and Beerus in the center of the command room. The convergence point exists beyond conventional spacetime, the Grand Minister explained. We'll travel via divine translation rather than conventional movement. Sounds fancy, Goku remarked. Hold on to your lunch, Beerus advised dryly. The Grand Minister raised his staff, and reality shifted around them. Unlike the streaking lights of Whis' usual transportation method, this felt like reality itself folding inward, compressing infinitely until they stood at the center of everything. There was no other way to describe it. In all directions stretched the multiverse, 12 universes slowly rotating into perfect alignment, their boundaries becoming transparent as they overlapped. Colors no human eye was meant to perceive painted the space between dimensions. Mathematical patterns formed and dissolved in the fabric of reality itself. Whoa, Goku breathed, turning slowly to take in the impossible view. The nexus point, the Grand Minister confirmed. Where all universes intersect at convergence. Beneath their feet, though beneath was a relative concept here, spread a crystalline platform that seemed to grow from the fabric of reality itself. At its center stood a pillar of pure light, the axis around which the convergence would rotate. Your position will be there, the Grand Minister indicated the pillar. When alignment reaches its peak, channel your energy into the axis. It will distribute throughout the convergence points, reinforcing all barriers simultaneously. And if the void breaches before then? Goku asked. We defend, Beerus stated simply, destruction energy already gathering around his hands. The convergence progresses in stages, Whis explained. We are currently at stage 2 of 7. Peak alignment, stage 7, will occur in approximately 42 minutes. Goku nodded, moving toward the central pillar to familiarize himself with its energy signature. As he approached, the light responded to his presence, pulsing in rhythm with his heartbeat. It recognizes you, the Grand Minister observed. As expected. Now we wait, Beerus said, creating a floating chair of destruction energy to lounge in. But the waiting proved brief. At stage 3 of convergence, the first anomaly appeared, a dark ripple in the space between Universe 4 and Universe 9. It begins, Whis announced, staff at the ready. The ripple expanded, tearing open to reveal the familiar nothingness of the supreme void. From within emerged void creatures, dozens, then hundreds, pouring through the breach like smoke. I've got this, Beerus declared, launching himself toward the tear. The god of destruction moved with deadly precision, each blast of destruction energy erasing void creatures from existence. But for each one eliminated, 2 more emerged. The breach is expanding. Whis called out, joining the defense. Goku wanted to help, but the Grand Minister placed a restraining hand on his shoulder. Conserve your energy for the Axis. We've planned for this. Throughout the multiverse, similar breaches appeared. On the crystalline platform, Bulma's communication system relayed status updates, Universe 7, Sector 3, breach contained. Universe 11 reporting multiple incursions, defenders holding. Universe 6, hit requests reinforcements at the northern quadrant. The convergence accelerated to stage 4. The boundaries between universes grew increasingly transparent, cosmic energy flowing more freely between them. This energy strengthened the defenders but also widened the tiers the void had created. At the central axis, Goku monitored the pattern of breaches. Something felt wrong, they weren't random attacks but formed a specific configuration. They're creating a pattern, he realized aloud. The breaches are positioned to form some kind of symbol when connected. The Grand Minister's expression darkened. A summoning matrix. They're not just breaking through, they're creating a pathway for something larger. The Supreme Void itself, Whis confirmed, rejoining them after sealing a minor breach. As if responding to its name, the largest tier expanded dramatically, darkness pouring through like liquid night. But this darkness had awareness, purpose. It began to coalesce into a massive form that defied comprehension, existing simultaneously in multiple dimensions. Stage 5 of Convergence, the Grand Minister announced tensely. 14 minutes to peak alignment. The void entity grew larger, absorbing its smaller counterparts as it took shape. Its form kept shifting, sometimes appearing humanoid, sometimes entirely abstract, but always immense and always focused on the central axis where Goku stood. Vessel, its voice resonated across dimensions, felt rather than heard. The moment of transition approaches. Beerus rejoined them, panting slightly from exertion. That thing is absorbing destruction energy. Standard attacks are becoming ineffective. We need to accelerate the timeline, the Grand Minister decided. Goku, begin channeling energy into the axis now. We'll defend you until peak alignment. Goku stepped onto the central platform, placing his hands against the pillar of light. Immediately, cosmic energy responded, flowing through him like a conduit. His body began to glow with the now familiar white-blue radiance, power surging through every cell. The void entity noticed the energy buildup and extended massive tendrils toward the axis. The old paradigm fears change, it intoned. But change comes regardless. Whis and Beerus intercepted the tendrils, their combined powers barely holding the darkness at bay. The Grand Minister created a barrier around the central platform, buying Goku precious time to build energy. Through the communication system, reports grew increasingly dire, multiple breaches in Universe 3. Barriers collapsing. Universe 10 defensive. Line broken. Void entities approaching Universal Core. Universe 7, Earth reporting void manifestations at multiple locations. Earth. Goku's concentration wavered at the thought of his home planet under attack. The energy flow faltered momentarily. Focus, Goku, the Grand Minister commanded. The axis is our priority. Goku steadied himself, reconnecting to the cosmic flow. But doubt crept into his mind. Was reinforcing the barriers truly the right course? Or was the child's message correct, that this represented a necessary transition? The confluence of cosmic forces made his thoughts feel unusually clear, connections forming that he'd previously missed. Stage 6 of Convergence arrived. The 12 universes now overlapped significantly, their unique energies blending at the boundaries. The void entity had grown to monstrous proportions, its form now encompassing nearly a third of the visible cosmos. For minutes to peak alignment, Whis called out, straining against a void tendril that threatened to break through the Grand Minister's barrier. The void entity shifted its approach, its voice addressing Goku directly, Vessel. You felt the stagnation. The rigidity of the current order. Why preserve what has reached its natural end? Don't listen. Beerus shouted, destruction energy flaring around him. It manipulates with half-truths. But Goku was listening, not just to the void, but to everything. The cosmic energy flowing through him enhanced his perception, allowing him to sense the entire multiverse simultaneously. He felt the defenders fighting desperately against void incursions. He felt Earth struggle as Vegeta and others battled to protect it. And beneath it all, he felt something the others hadn't mentioned, a subtle wrongness in the cosmic balance, a tension that had been building long before his emergence. The boundaries between universes weren't just thin because of convergence or his power, they had been gradually weakening for eons. You begin to see, the void entity said, its tone almost gentle. The experiment reaches its conclusion. Change comes. 1 minute to peak alignment, the Grand Minister announced. Goku, prepare for full energy transfer. The moment of decision approached. Goku stood at the center of everything, cosmic power surging through him, faced with a choice that would shape reality itself. Reinforce the existing paradigm or allow transformation into something new. In that crystal moment of clarity, illuminated by the light of 12 converging universes, Goku finally understood. The dichotomy was false. Creation versus void. Preservation versus transformation. These weren't opposing forces but complementary aspects of a greater whole. "I know what to do," Goku said, his voice resonating with newfound certainty. "Peak alignment achieved." Whis called out. Everything slowed as the 12 universes reached perfect convergence. Time itself seemed to pause, awaiting Goku's decision. The void entity extended itself toward the axis one final time. "Choose, vessel. Creation or void?" "Neither," Goku replied. "And both." With that declaration, he channeled his energy not against the void but alongside it, creating a new pattern at the axis point. Not reinforcement of the old barriers, not surrender to formless void, but integration, a harmonious blending that acknowledged both sides of existence. "Goku, what are you doing?" Beerus demanded, panic in his voice for the first time. "Fixing the real problem," Goku replied calmly. "The separation was never meant to be permanent." The Grand Minister watched with wide eyes as understanding dawned. Of course, the original design. Cosmic energy flowed from Goku in patterns of impossible complexity, rewriting the fundamental relationships between universes. The barriers transformed from rigid walls into permeable membranes, strong enough to maintain distinct universes but flexible enough to allow natural evolution. The void entity paused its assault, sensing the change. "You choose balance." "I choose growth," Goku corrected. "Nothing stays the same forever, not even cosmic structure. But change doesn't have to mean destruction." As his energy spread throughout the convergence point, the void entity began to transform. Rather than consuming reality, it settled into the spaces between universes, becoming an integral part of the new cosmic framework, the creative potential that exists before form. Throughout the multiverse, the battles shifted. Void creatures ceased their attacks, instead merging with the new boundary structures. Defenders watched in confusion as their enemies transformed from adversaries into something like cosmic antibodies, maintaining the health of reality rather than seeking its end. At the axis point, Goku's body now shone with blinding radiance as he channeled more power than any mortal form should contain. The strain was immense, cellular damage accumulating with each passing second. "He can't sustain this," Whis warned. "The vessel will rupture." "Let me help," came a new voice, young but ancient, powerful yet gentle. A small figure appeared beside Goku, the child from Beerus's world, but now glowing with cosmic light that matched Goku's own. Without explanation, it placed its hands alongside Goku's on the axis pillar. "Who?" Beerus began. "You know who I am," the child replied with a smile. Realization dawned on the Grand Minister's face. "Lord Zeno." The child, Zeno, nodded. "The experiment concludes successfully. The vessel has chosen wisely." Together, Goku and Zeno completed the transformation of the cosmic architecture. Energy flowed between them, the essence that had been separated now reuniting through their connected hands. "Will it hold?" Goku asked through gritted teeth, his body beginning to fail under the strain. "It will evolve," Zeno replied. "As all things should." With the new framework established, the convergence began to reverse. Universes slowly separated, maintaining their distinct identities but now connected by the void-infused barriers, balanced, strong, yet adaptable. Goku collapsed as the energy flow finally overwhelmed his mortal form. Whis caught him before he hit the crystalline floor. "Is he?" Beerus couldn't finish the question. "His life force diminishes rapidly," Whis reported gravely. The power was too much for a physical body to channel. Zeno approached, still in child form, and placed a small hand on Goku's chest. "The vessel has fulfilled its purpose. The essence returns." Light flowed from Goku into Zeno, the Omni King energy that had resided within him since birth gradually transferring back to its original source. "Wait," Goku managed weakly. "What happens now?" Zeno smiled. Now you rest. And when you wake, you will be as you were meant to be, yourself. And the void is part of us once more, Zeno replied. Neither enemy nor ally, but complement. The cycle continues, improved by your perspective. With those words, Zeno's form shifted, growing brighter until it was painful to look upon. In a flash of light that rippled across all 12 universes, the Omni King vanished, taking with him the cosmic power that had defined Goku's existence. Darkness claimed Goku as his consciousness faded. Warmth. Softness beneath him. The smell of food cooking. Goku's eyes fluttered open to find himself in an unfamiliar room with sunlight streaming through open windows. He lay in a comfortable bed, bandages wrapped around his torso and arms. "He's awake," came Bulma's voice from nearby. Footsteps approached, and suddenly she was leaning over him, relief evident in her eyes. "About time. You've been unconscious for 3 days." 3 days? Goku tried to sit up, wincing at unexpected pain. "What happened? Where am I?" "Whis brought you back to Earth," Bulma explained. "This is my family's compound. And as for what happened, you rewrote cosmic architecture, apparently. No big deal." The memories flooded back, the convergence point, the void entity, his choice to integrate rather than oppose, Zeno's appearance. "Did it work?" he asked urgently. "Is everything okay?" "Define okay," came Vegeta's voice as the Scion Prince entered the room. "The multiverse didn't collapse, if that's what you mean. But things are different." "Different how?" Bulma and Vegeta exchanged glances. "The boundaries between universes remain intact but permeable," Bulma explained. "We're getting visitors from other universes. Cultural exchange, scientific cooperation. It's fascinating, really." "And the void creatures?" "Integrated," Vegeta said with a hint of disgust. "They exist at the boundaries now, maintaining cosmic health or some nonsense." Whis explained it, but it sounded like mystical garbage to me. Goku laughed, then immediately regretted it as pain shot through his ribs. "Ow. Why does everything hurt?" "Because you're human now," came Whis' voice as the angel appeared in the doorway. "Or Scion, rather." "Just Scion." "You mean?" Whis nodded. "The Omni King energy has returned to Zeno. You retain the strength and abilities you developed naturally, but the cosmic power is gone." Goku lifted his hand, trying to summon the familiar white-blue energy. Nothing happened beyond the normal ki flow of a powerful Scion warrior. Strange emotions washed through him, relief, loss, confusion, freedom. He had carried that power his entire life, sometimes as a burden, sometimes as a gift. Its absence left him feeling simultaneously lighter and diminished. "How do you feel about that?" Bulma asked gently. Goku considered the question seriously. "Honestly? Pretty good. It was amazing having that power, but it never felt completely like me. Now I can just be Goku again." A disappointingly predictable response, Beerus commented, appearing behind Whis. "Though I suppose godhood isn't for everyone." Lord Beerus insisted on checking your recovery personally, Whis explained with a knowing smile. "I merely wish to confirm the stability of the new cosmic architecture," Beerus sniffed. "The subject happens to be located here." "Right," Goku grinned. "Thanks for your concern." "Don't push it," Beerus warned, though without real heat. "By the way, your reformatting of reality has created significantly more paperwork for destroyers. I hope you're satisfied." "The bureaucracy of destruction," Bulma mused. "There's a concept." "Where's Zeno now?" Goku asked. "Did he say anything else?" "The Omni King returned to his realm," Whis replied. "But he left a message for you. He said, the experiment continues, but with new parameters." "Thank you for your perspective." "So it really was an experiment," Goku said thoughtfully. "Putting his power in a mortal to see what would happen." A rather risky one, Beerus grumbled. The multiverse could have collapsed. But it didn't, Whis pointed out. Instead, it evolved. Exactly as Lord Zeno hoped, I suspect. Goku attempted to sit up again, succeeding this time despite the pain. How long until I can get back to training? Vegeta snorted. Typical Kakarote. Nearly dies saving existence, immediately wants to punch things again. You're one to talk, Bulma teased. You've been demanding a match with Goku since the moment Whis brought him back. Of course, Vegeta replied unapologetically. Now we can finally fight as equals, without his cosmic advantages. Goku's eyes lit up. You're right. It'll be a fair fight. You need at least a week of recovery, Bulma insisted. Doctor's orders. My orders, actually, since I'm the closest thing to a physician who understands your physiology. A week? Goku groaned. That's forever. Consider it your punishment for nearly giving us all heart attacks, she replied firmly. Besides, the world leaders want to thank you properly once you're on your feet. Earth now hosts the new Multiversal Cooperation Council, thanks to your cosmic redecorating. Politics, Goku made a face. I definitely didn't sign up for that part. Too bad, Beerus smirked. Actions have consequences, even well-intentioned ones. As they continued discussing the new multiversal reality, Goku found himself oddly content despite his physical discomfort. He had made the right choice, he felt it in his core. The multiverse would evolve naturally now, finding its balance between structure and potential, creation and void. And he could return to his simpler joys, training, fighting worthy opponents, exploring his own potential as a martial artist without cosmic responsibilities weighing him down. 1 week later, fully recovered thanks to his Saiyan healing abilities, Goku stood on the training grounds behind Capsule Corporation. Across from him, Vegeta stretched in preparation for their long-awaited match. No holding back, Vegeta demanded. I want to see how strong you really are without divine power. Wouldn't dream of it, Goku replied with a grin, dropping into his fighting stance. As they clashed in a flurry of punches and kicks that created shock waves across the compound, Bulma watched from a safe distance alongside Whis and Beerus. Some things never change, she observed fondly. And some things change everything, Whis replied, watching Goku with thoughtful eyes. Even without Omni King energy, he remains remarkable. A worthy vessel, Beerus agreed reluctantly. Though don't tell him I said so. Above them, the sky held a subtle new quality, a faint iridescence that hadn't existed before the convergence. If one looked carefully, one might occasionally glimpse other realities overlapping with their own, the boundaries between universes now permeable in ways that fostered growth rather than isolation. The multiverse continued its experiment, guided by the balance Goku had helped establish. Creation and void, form and potential, existing in harmony rather than opposition. And at the center of it all, a former vessel, now just a scion from Earth, lived exactly as he wished, fighting, growing, connecting, his cosmic chapter closed but his story far from over. The end. Thank you for watching this video. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video.